about the next hurdle.
Now that the House has passed the Obamacare repeal bill, the Senate's set to take up the measure, with some Republican senators saying there's zero chance it will be passed as is. White House spokeswoman Sarah Huckabee Sanders confirms that the Trump legislative team will play a key role in writing the Senate bill.
I think we've made very clear we're going to be hands-on in this process. It's a priority to fix a very broken system. Obamacare is a disaster, and this isn't a president who does things hands-off.
The president and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell must now try to craft a bill that can win the votes of 50 of the 52 Senate Republicans.
Fox Radio's John Decker at the White House. President Trump tweeting this afternoon that our health care will soon be great. Also a short time ago signing the temporary spending bill that avoids a government shutdown. After an event in New York City last night, he's spending the weekend at his home in central New Jersey, saying that'll save some security costs in New York. New York Mayor Bill de Blasio announcing $68 million in federal reimbursement for security costs since the election.
There's literally not been a precedent in the history of this city or the history of this nation. And I want to credit the men and women of the NYPD for the way they just seamlessly went into action to protect Trump Tower and everyone in it.
He's also praising the state's congressional delegation for the bipartisan effort to get the federal funding. Stocks finished higher and a bit of a late rally on Wall Street. The Dow up 55 points at the closing bell, topping 21,000 at 21,006 for the finish. The NASDAQ and the S&P both hitting new records. The NASDAQ closing above 6,100 for the first time. 211,000 jobs created in April. The unemployment rate hitting a 10-year low. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Ready for a new tractor? At LS Tractor, we'll be the first to tell you to shop and compare. That's right, shop our competition. We're that confident that the LS Tractor combination of more standard features, better performance, competitive price, and proven commitment to customer satisfaction deliver value that's unequaled by another tractor. Period. Want more tractor for your money? Look around. You'll see there's one that gives it to you. LS Tractor. Excel in your field. Learn more at lstractorusa.com.
ADT presents What to Consider When Considering Home Security. An ADT sign is more than a sign. It's a line in the sand. On one side, your family. On the other, an uncertain world.
For over 140 years, more people have chosen ADT to help prevent crime than anyone else. Get ADT starting at just $28.99 a month.
Tested, trusted, proven ADT.
With 36-month contract for licensing and terms and conditions, visit ADT.com.
Online got other students punished for commenting on social media, and now they're suing their California school district.
Several students were suspended earlier this year from Albany High School in the Bay Area after one student took screenshots of the racist posts and showed them to a school administrator. After the students came back from suspension, attorney Alan Beck, who's representing 4 of the students, says they were lined up and marched through the school while the other students screamed and cursed at them. He says eventually things got violent.
One had his nose broken. One of my guys got bruised ribs, just got beat up, had bruises, black eye.
He says their First and Fourth Amendment rights were violated and that the school went too far. Albany Unified says it's committed to providing an inclusive learning environment for students and plans to defend that commitment in court. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
How to survive a shark attack.
I think putting pressure on the wound and putting a makeshift tourniquet and getting help right away.
Doctors at Scripps Memorial Hospital in California holding a briefing on Leanne Erickson, who was rescued Saturday by a handful of beachgoers after a shark attack off Camp Pendleton. One of them using a surfboard leash to make a tourniquet. Erickson's now out of a medically induced coma, but she will need more surgery to repair nerve damage. You can help name the newest color in an iconic box of crayons.
A staple of every young artist will soon feature a new crayon in a brilliant blue color. It's based on a pigment accidentally discovered 8 years ago by scientists at Oregon State University. They were mixing chemicals, hoping to find new materials for use in electronics when they stumbled on the vibrant blue, which slightly resembles cerulean. Its name is Yinmin Blue after the elements yttrium, indium, magnesium, and oxygen, but Crayola would like to go with a different name for its crayon, asking the public's help through its website.
Fox's Lillian Wu. I'm Lisa Brady. Fox News Radio.
Here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast from the National Weather Service, brought to you by Chief Bauer. For all your heating and air conditioning needs, give Chief Bauer service experts a call at 866-EXPERTS or visit online at chiefbauer.com. 44 the low tonight. Tomorrow might reach 60 degrees, sunny and less wind with a low of 37 overnight. And then sunny on Sunday with a high of 61, low of 39, mid-60s throughout next week. But most importantly, not much rain.
That's good.
Right now at a 61.
We've had enough.
61 and sunny. ESPN Radio.
And it is the Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Lante, Mike Carpenter filling in for Jeremy Warner. He texted me this morning early, boarding a plane for Las Vegas, and said, hey, I just met a super fan on the flight to Vegas. I'm like, nice. Somebody else out there likes the Tay and J Show.
Of the Tay and J Show?
Yeah, of the Tay and J. Because the reason I say that, on my flight back from Florida with the boys in February, a guy on the plane, his wife looks over me and she's like, he's scared to say anything, but he loves your show. I was
wow.
Oh, that's cool. So he was a great guy. He and I talked on the plane. So Jeremy's like, maybe that's the only place that we run into people that actually like our show. It's on a plane.
Hey, that's fine. That's fine. We get the occasional anecdotal, someone coming up and saying hello, which is always appreciated.
It's awesome.
And even people that aren't in Champaign-Urbana.
Yeah.
There is a wide reach, I think, especially in the state for Illini fans. I mean, we have a listener in the Pacific Rim.
Isn't that
I know
cool?
from our podcast. So
that's pretty cool. And I know you go over our podcast, and you can do that, of course, and hear us here today or every day on our podcast at Tay and J. ESPNCU.com. And we're going to talk to Kevin Wheeler today, 101 ESPN in St. Louis, and then Chris Block. It's a yearly tradition. It's almost like the Masters. You know, it's a tradition unlike any other. When we visit with Chris Block, who is a Villa Grove kid. He actually went to high school in Villa Grove, and now he owns a racing stable in Chicago up near Arlington. And Chris trains horses, and we always bring him on for expert advice when the Kentucky Derby rolls around. I forget every year. And it's the easiest thing in the world. It's the first Saturday of May.
Yeah.
Carp, every year I forget that here comes the Kentucky Derby.
I kind of did too.
I don't know why.
And I was there last year. So,
that's right.
Yeah. As the Cubs take a 2-0 lead. I'll be honest. I'm a little sidetracked. I am infuriated a bit.
It is just not cute anymore that they don't stink.
Well, it's not so much that.
Austin.
It's that in this particular game, the Yankees have wasted so many opportunities.
Schwarber.
And I'm fine with getting one at Wrigley, but I do have this slight fear of getting swept.
Right. Well,
I don't want to get swept at Wrigley.
Yeah, and when it's a game like today where you've had so many chances.
Oh, and the Yankees have been ripping the ball, and then, of course, Bryant and Schwarber. Yeah. How cute. You know, Pineda been great except for 2 home runs. Oh, no, that's a pop fly.
And this is like your second favorite team, the Cubs.
Well,
kind of. Or you kind of jumped onto that cute little story. I never did.
Well, no, I definitely jumped on that cute little story. And they are a very likable team. When worlds collide,
yes,
for whatever reason, like I've been able to watch most of the Yankees games this year, even the Red Sox series that they had earlier. Or the Cardinals.
Yeah.
And, then you get the juice flowing a little bit. But now that the Yankees have the record that they do,
right,
I especially don't want this to be a fluke. And if I can help it, I want them and the Astros, who currently have the best records in the American League, to be that way when I'm there next Sunday.
I like it.
I want the 2 best records in the American League on Derek Jeter night, Masahiro Tanaka pitching for the Yankees.
So you're going, already he's pitching.
Well, if they
you've projected it.
If they stay in rotation.
Okay.
And it looks like they will because the 5th starter is going tomorrow.
Okay.
And then Severino, for whatever reason, is going Sunday. So it looks like I'll get Tanaka, which is pretty cool.
And that's Derek Jeter Day. How did you get tickets for this? How much is a ticket to a Yankees game right now?
Well, the prices have fallen from when I got them. I was not the shrewdest investor in standing room only tickets for Derek Jeter night. And there may be a chance. I was trying to unload Friday night tickets that I had gotten when Derek Jeter night sold out.
Oh,
but I'm having a hard time doing so.
So are they about $100 for standing room only?
On the secondary market, about.
Okay.
Yeah, which, you know what? That's fine.
That's more, yes.
I mean, we aren't going to a Broadway show.
Okay.
So that's our investment.
Who's all going out?
And just me and the lady.
Okay, you guys are heading to New York.
Heading to New York, staying by Grand Central Station. I think this might be the last show I do before I leave for New York. Unless I'm covering for
I don't think so.
Next week. Yeah.
I think maybe the only time I needed you to cover was Thursday, but you're going to be flying out
I'll
that
be gone.
day.
Yeah, Wednesday got Tom Petty.
Good for you. Wow. Yeah. Look at you the week ahead. You got Petty Wednesday, fly to New York on Thursday. I think people listening would think that we make a lot of money here.
You know, I've thought about this actually, because it's getting to be that time of year. You have certain times of the year that are super busy with traveling,
right?
Where you always have the trip in November, not this year, but
I'm not. Yeah, I'm in a wedding this year,
and usually February. You have a trip in February,
and November.
So you kind of know, like, these are the 2 blocks of time that I'm gone.
Yep.
And then for me, a lot of it is predicated on concerts, right?
Absolutely.
And in June, 3 out of the 4 weekends I'm gone.
That's
for you
awesome.
too.
Good for you.
So, what is that? No, it's 4 out of 5 weekends I'm gone for either you 2 or Dave.
No
and Tim.
doubt.
So, whatever. I was thinking about the whole financial component.
And you start to worry, like, did Brian hit one out too?
Yeah, he hit one in the first inning.
Oh, that was the first inning.
But it hit me that I am a man of modest means.
Yes.
And
same here.
I don't really go out a lot. I don't go out to eat a lot.
Jeremy and I talked about this the other day, that I don't own a lot of toys. I don't own a motorcycle. I don't own a Harley Davidson.
Right.
And I think that's awesome to people that do. And they're cool as heck. They're just loud. Motorcycles are just loud.
They're very loud.
But I don't own that. I don't own a bass boat. I mean, I'm lucky, I guess, in that my dad had one that I kind of inherited. My brother and I inherited. So I've got that if I want to go fish. But I don't spend money on that. I don't own like a camper to go camping.
Mm-hmm.
I have a 2005 Ford truck that's paid off and has been for years. So it's like a lot of my money is spent going down to a beach in Florida. I mean, essentially, that's what I like to do. And I would rather spend money doing that. Now, I do go out too much. And the thing you get caught in with kids is that, especially when they're playing sports, like tonight, Lucas has tennis. And after that, he'll say to me, Dad, you want to go grab something to eat? And sure enough, we'll go somewhere, grab something to eat. And the next thing you know, you spent $40-$50.
Yeah.
And see, if you don't do that, if you add those up over an extended period of time, that's a trip to New York, which is great.
And we'll be doing that every meal in New York. So
right.
What's funny, too, is that when you get these trips done in advance, and if you pay for them in advance, by the time you go,
you don't even feel like you're paying for it.
Yeah, it feels like a free trip. Clearly it is not, but it feels like it. And then you get out there, and then my whole thing is, because I don't keep like Quicken.
Yeah.
I don't keep books.
No.
I do the whole log on. Is everything okay? Okay, it's okay.
Yep.
And
all
then
right,
we log
money
off.
In there. All right.
And that will be me on Tuesday or so. The Tuesday after I get back from New York, and just, you log on, you have your fingers crossed. Okay.
Exactly.
What's the damage? I mean, they got these Yankee Clubhouse stores out there, and in my mind, I'm like, what budget do I set?
That's not going to be good.
Because you could just kind of go off.
Well, especially when you don't see a lot of Yankee stuff around here, and then you'd have a chance to go out there and spend galore. The one thing I did this year was the Cancun all-inclusive. Now, when I do these November trips for a company that I sell for, Pekin Insurance, they are basically all-inclusive. Now, we have to sell so much to earn these trips, right?
Right.
But when I get there, everything's pretty much free, et cetera. So in a way, I've done the all-inclusive, but I'd never done a quote-unquote all-inclusive trip that I did in February to Cancun. That's the way to go. Mm-hmm. Man, I loved that. And the funny part is, though, Carp, I think you know this, I don't eat a lot. So I would rather drink. And I know that sounds really bad, but it's like,
I'd rather have a liquid diet.
Yeah, but even for breakfast, like I'll just grab a couple things of bacon or whatever, and I'm good to go. And an orange juice or a milk, and then for lunch maybe a couple pieces of fruit and something.
I just thought of a country album title for you. Bacon and mimosas, or mimosas and bacon.
I like it.
I just imagine you said, I just have some bacon. I'm good.
I just have some little.
I just imagine
bacon.
like just one plate with 3 little bacon strips and your morning mimosa, and then I'm good. I got my vitamin C and my protein.
But it was just nice to be like at a swim up pool, and you just order another beer, and you're not worried about paying for it. You're not. It's on Tay. I've got a tab. So it's just nice to be able to, it's free. I mean, it's not free. You've paid for it, but essentially when you get there, because you paid ahead of time, you feel like it's a free trip.
Yeah, pretty much. All-inclusive is the way to go. I've never done it.
Yeah.
But I've had plenty of friends that do it.
I enjoyed it.
Everybody loves it. I mean, you basically, camp out at the resort, do your thing, and that'd be fun with me.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as it's you got the pool, you got the beautiful weather.
Boom.
That's the other thing we need to talk about real quick, because this is a Friday show.
Okay.
And I don't have a lot of sports
I don't either.
things to
Obviously,
impart.
you and I, like, if we can't talk sports right off the bat, we don't have a lot to talk about.
It's not going to really happen. But this weather, right, okay, it's sunny today.
Yes.
I'm going to take that compromise. It was so nice to be outside when it's sunny. But I want 75 degrees.
Yeah, and I think we deserve it in May.
I think we do. I know we got the easiest winter ever.
We did.
At following what was, up to that point, the easiest winter ever.
Two
So that's
straight winters.
2 in a row.
I agree.
But this is a little ridiculous. Now, think if you're in Chicago.
Oh.
And tonight, well, it's a day game at Wrigley, but even so, the wind chill's like 38.
Absolutely.
Tomorrow, they moved it to the national game at 6:15. With Joe Buck and John Smoltz and those guys. And
it'll be cold.
It's going to be very cold and windy. And then on Sunday night, another night game at Wrigley in what feels like April temperatures. So this is not, I don't know. I'm not wearing shorts regularly, and that bothers me.
Right, I agree with you. And you know me, I love heat. But I do. I get to certain months, and I get like, not nervous, but I get antsy. And when April rolls around, I get antsy for nice days.
Yes.
It's like, I'll give you March, because February was decent. Well, February this year was ridiculous. I'm like, I'll give you March, but when we get to April, I want to start sweating. And now we're in May, and I'm cold.
Yeah,
I'm still... And I have a head cold now, which is bugging me.
Yeah, that's going around, too.
I think I got it from Jeremy.
Really?
Well, he had it.
This is his microphone. That's
no doubt. I know, that's not good.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though, is that my fear that I had today, I actually thought about this, is it's only May 5th.
Mm-hmm.
But then I looked at the forecast, and I see 63, 64 all through next week.
Right.
Not cold.
No.
But then I'm thinking, what if we get to Memorial Day?
Yes.
And it's not warm yet.
Exactly.
And then it's already June.
Right, exactly.
And I feel like summer has yet to start.
Yes.
I want that early heat wave. I want that mid-May 80-degree day.
You're getting ripped off.
I feel a little bit that way. New York's going to be the same thing, mid-60s, which is fine. It's not going to be rainy, knock on wood.
I think it's funny that the Cubs or the Yankees are in Chicago, and you're not going to that, but then you're flying to New York.
No, but the funny thing
Who
is
do they
that
play?
The Astros.
Oh, that's right.
Which is going to be great.
Yeah.
And but when we planned the trip, it was just, okay, what weekend would the Yankees be around?
Got it.
And May looks good, so we just kind of circled that. Derek Jeter and I didn't get announced until 2 months after we planned it.
So you had a break there.
We had a huge break there.
Oh, that is not... So he'll be there. Well, obviously.
Well, Derek Jeter and then all of the teammates. I mean, it'll be cool to see if A-Rod comes out there, but I'm sure Bernie Williams, Jorge Posada, Andy Pettit.
Did he and A-Rod get along?
No, they coexisted.
Okay, I didn't know. I honestly didn't know.
The one thing about Derek Jeter and his legacy that, because for me, Mariano was a more relatable guy for whatever reason.
Right.
Derek Jeter was very corporate.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I agree.
He never did anything wrong, but it almost got to the point where, are you a cyborg or are you a human?
Right.
And even the stories about his gift baskets were kind of cute instead of like, cool. You know what I mean? So, no, for me, it's going to be seeing guys like Mariano and Bernie Williams. And but the A-Rod thing, with Derek Jeter's legacy, they get A-Rod in before 2004. Maybe winter meetings of 03. Because the Red Sox were going for him, then the Yankees ended up getting him for Alfonso Soriano.
Right.
And he gets there, and there were discussions, well, what do we do?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, does A-Rod play short? Do we move Derek Jeter to third? Do we consider moving Derek Jeter to the outfield because his speed would actually be kind of advantageous out there?
Absolutely.
Well, Derek didn't want to move.
Well, no, and I don't blame him.
And I don't blame him either. But A-Rod was the best player in the game.
Right.
And it would have been the ultimate captain move to say, you know what? I'm going to relinquish shortstop to the guy that plays shortstop better than I do. And A-Rod still played Gold Glove caliber third base.
Yes, he did.
But Derek Jeter, by many accounts and many measurements, was not that great of a defensive shortstop.
Who was your second baseman at the time?
Second baseman in 04. Cano may have come up around, I want to say 06.
Because Jeter just seems like the kind of guy you could move to second with his frame, with his build.
Let me see.
It's like we could move him to second, put A-Rod at short, and we'd be good to go. Can you imagine that up the middle of A-Rod and Jeter?
Pretty sick.
Wow.
Okay, so that second baseman that year, actually, of all people, Miguel Cairo. Do you remember him?
Yeah, I do remember him.
I think he played for the
Cardinals.
Yeah, the Cardinals. Maybe the Cubs a little bit. He was the NL Central for a while.
That's right.
So, yeah, Cano wasn't up until 06 or 07. But that team, the first team A-Rod was on, Posada, Derek Jeter, A-Rod, Matsui, Bernie Williams, Gary Sheffield.
Wow.
That guy is my favorite. I think if I had to say my favorite baseball swing of all time, it's Gary Sheffield.
The old hitch.
And all the foul home runs where he just turned around on a ball so quickly.
Boom.
Yeah,
was
Gary Sheffield
on that team?
No, Brocious was last year, I think 2001.
I don't know why, but I just have this Scott Brocious. I just remember, I mean, that guy would be, this was in my full Yankees hate.
Yeah.
When I was so tired of them winning games.
Yeah.
And then Scott Brocious would hit a 2-run homer to win it.
You're thinking this guy.
And I'm like,
out
really?
of all people.
Yeah, I mean, you have so many other weapons, and Scott Brocious hits a shot.
But you know what's funny? Brocious was really good for a few years.
Really good.
And I think in '98 the Yankees got him, and he had one. If we're going WAR,
yeah,
I think he had like the third highest WAR in the team.
Wow.
That team was loaded, but yeah, he was actually good. And the thing was, you never thought that he was that good because he looked like a normal dude.
Exactly.
Like there was nothing flashy about him.
Right. Maybe that's why I hated him.
Were there any Cardinals that kind of fit that bill of, you know, there's nothing flashy about their game or their personality, and yet they were sneaky good?
You know, one guy that was like that had his better years with the Minnesota Twins is Gary Gaetti. Gary Gaetti was that guy where you just kind of like, how's he this good?
Right.
Gaetti, let me think back here. I'm trying to think like of a Ron Gant. He was built, so it wouldn't be a guy like him. I'm trying to think of who else would be. Gaetti's the one that just kind of pops in my head.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite baseball names.
Gary Gaetti.
That is such a baseball name.
Can I tell you the funny story? He's from Centralia, Illinois.
Okay.
And he played at Lakeland, actually, down in Charleston, or Mattoon, excuse me. So right before I started my career in television, which would have been 92 after I graduated, the guy that preceded me at WSIL down in Southern Illinois did a story on Gary Gaetti because he was home for a week I don't know why he was home during the summer. It must have been like the All-Star break or something. And Gaetti was home for like 3 or 4 days, so they set up an interview with him, and they went up to Centralia. He was at his parents' house. So they go up there to interview him, and Gaetti's actually mowing. Gary is mowing the yard.
Wow.
So they go inside. The dad lets them inside. They're in the kitchen. They're setting up their camera and everything to get ready for Gary to come in. And back then, Carp, we had phones on the wall, right? That had long cords that you'd walk around.
Was it the rotary?
It was the rotary, or
maybe
sometimes you had a touchstone or whatever. So alongside a phone, what a lot of people would do is they still do. I think some people still do. They put things to where you'd put maybe bills in, like your water bill.
Yeah,
you gotta remember
those
to pay
little kind of
their compartment kind of things,
hanging basket, almost like
something like that. So the guy is standing there talking to the dad, and he notices there's 5 paychecks there. And each paycheck is worth, I don't know, maybe $75,000, $80,000. And he stares at this thing, and the dad starts shaking his head. He's like, "Oh, I am so mad at him." And he's like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "Well, first of all, every paycheck he gets still comes to our house."
Wow.
And number 2, he's been home now for 2 days, and he still hasn't taken those to the bank. Can you imagine 5 $75,000 paychecks just sitting there?
If I have a $50 check, I feel like it's burning a hole in my pocket. I need to get it into the bank right now.
I mean,
I don't waste any time.
This is early 90s.
Wow.
And here's 5 $75,000 checks just sitting there.
Gary Gaetti.
Yeah. And the dad is mad at him because he will not take it to the bank. I think that's just so funny. So whenever I hear the name Gary Gaetti, first thought in my mind is that. And he was kind of a portly guy, kind of a bigger guy but he was good. He could rake.
Could we open up the text line to this topic today?
Yeah, let's do it.
We did baseball caps on Wednesday or Tuesday. And that continued throughout the show, I think.
It did.
So baseball names. Your favorite baseball names.
I like
And
this.
I'll throw a few out there right now. You mentioned Gary Gaetti. I remember
Grudzielanek.
That's a great name.
Yep.
Ken Caminiti.
Yes.
Is such a great baseball name.
Ken Caminiti.
Dante Bichette.
Yeah. I just said him yesterday.
Oh, man. That's such a good
That's funny. We talked about him
yesterday. Such a good baseball name. Trying to think of others. Maybe I don't know.
John Candelaria from back in the day.
Okay.
That was an old pirate.
Nomar Garciaparra.
That's a good name.
Great name. It rolls off the tongue. And more than football players, a good example would be Jerry Rice, wide receiver. Like that's the quintessential name. It's kind of very simple. Baseball has this sort of maybe because there's more of an ethnic quality in it.
Saltalamacchia.
Yeah, and you just get these great names that roll off the tongue.
You totally
baseball
do.
more than any sport.
I like this. All right, so 359-2255. We got our first one, and it's a great one. And I actually met this guy, Caleb.
Wow. Okay.
Caleb in Champaign just sent it in. This guy's son played travel baseball, and his son is my son's age, Mickey Morandini. And
Cubs catcher.
Yeah, Cubs, and he played with the Phillies, not a catcher.
Didn't he have
baseman?
some funky hair?
Yeah.
Kind of a mullet.
All those Phillies back in the day, you know.
Yep.
With who were some of the Phillies? Come on, Lon. Oh, come on. Darren Kruk.
John Kruk.
And Dalton. Was it Darren Dalton?
Were these the Phillies that played the Blue Jays in the World Series? Okay.
Yes, those guys. But Mickey Morandini was that second baseman, I think,
Mm-hmm.
and I had a chance to meet him. So I was like, oh, wow, that's cool. That's Mickey Morandini. So, yeah, have him fired in. 359-2255. Cool baseball names. You can do that on the Chief Bauer text line. You can also call us on the Jupiter's The Crossing phone line. Same number, 217-359-2255. You can search for us on Facebook and Twitter. Just search Tay and J Show. I tweet at Lon Tay, ESPNCU.
And I tweet at Fanboy Carp. You can always download the WSJK app and get the podcast at ESPNCU.com or on iTunes, powered by GTPS Insurance. We have Daniel King in the house helping us out today, along with Austin Birkland, our producer. At 4:05, Chris Block from the Chris Block Racing Stables ahead of the Kentucky Derby.
Okay.
And Kevin Wheeler coming up after the break here. I'll let you do the Blues talk.
Yes, I'll do some Blues talk.
We absolutely need to get his favorite baseball player name.
Let's do that. I like that idea. And the Cardinals had a really crappy day last night. Or night.
Yeah.
They lost Stephen Piscotty and Dexter Fowler in the same game.
About as bad of a night as you could get.
That's a bad whammy right there. The old no whammy. So we'll talk to Kevin Wheeler from 101 ESPN, ask him what he's heard about Stephen Piscotty and Dexter Fowler, and maybe if Tommy Pham can inject some excitement into this Cardinals lineup. And, of course, I will ask him about the Blues. They're down 3-1 in their series with Nashville. Game 5 tonight in St. Louis. A must-win for Jake Allen and the Notes. It is the Tay and J Show.
Are you looking for a new home or planning to refinance your existing home? Hi, this is Todd Durakan from First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana, getting you and your home faster with loan closings in 30 days. Mortgage loans and refinancing that's fast, friendly, and local. We invite you to visit our experienced team of mortgage experts to find out how First Federal Savings Bank can help you with your loan closing in 30 days. For more information, visit 356bank.com. First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana. Get what you want out of life. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Going on 5 years, Rock's Place in St. Joseph has become the neighborhood sports bar and grill for a lot of folks in the area. Rock's Place is known for their delicious burgers, and they also have great daily food and drink specials. Plus, Rock's has plenty of TVs, so you can keep tabs on the Cubs and Cardinals all summer long. And while you're there, press your luck on one of Melody Music's video gaming machines. For delicious food, cold drinks, and good company, make it Rock's Place, 101 North Main Street in St. Joseph. Find them on Facebook, ROCHS in St. Joseph.
The sounds of spring and the smell of flowers in the air, they all add up to Spring Green, America's neighborhood lawn care team. That lush green lawnscape is a result of a reputation earned through consistent performance. They become your favorite through quality service and professionalism. Spring Green will service and maintain your lawnscape with seeding, aeration, fertilizing, weed reduction, disease, and insect control. Now the ease and trouble-free convenience of Spring Green's professional lawn care's full program is yours at savings of 20% for new customers. It's backed by their guarantee of satisfaction. Over 32 years of satisfied customers reflect their commitment to Champaign-Urbana and the Mattoon-Charleston area. Call Spring Green at 217-359-2111 or online at spring-green.com at 217-359-2111.
Beacon Insurance and your local independent agent are committed to providing the best coverage options and the best service possible. They're available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at beaconinsurance.com and on social media. Check them out on Facebook at facebook.com/Beacon Insurance. It's a great way to learn more about insurance for your auto, home, life, or business. You'll stay up to date with important announcements. Plus, they'll throw in a few fun facts along the way. For beyond the expected information, follow Beacon Insurance on Facebook today. DP Dough is the original Calzone company, and they cater all types and sizes of events, from office orders to private parties to entire visiting football teams. Everyone will be sure to enjoy something different than the same old sandwiches or pizza. DP Dough also delivers to nearly all of Champaign-Urbana and Savoy until late at night. So give them a call or order online when you're hungry and no one else is delivering. With over 1 million calzones served since opening in 2006, DP Dough is sure to satisfy and fill you up. DP Dough, the original Calzone company.
Hello, I'm Austin Berkland with your 3:30 Sports Center update brought to you by Prairie View Landscaping. Email mypvdiscount@gmail.com for a free quote. That's mypvdiscount@gmail.com. Atlanta women's gymnastics will have to find a new head coach. Kim Landris is leaving and is headed to be the coach of the NC State Wolfpack. Landris coached 12 women from the Illini to All-American honors in her time as head coach. Penn State made an idiotic move today. Yes, they named Jay Paterno to their board of trustees.
Oh, no.
Jay Paterno, board of trustees for Penn State.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The St. Louis Blues start their comeback tour tonight at 7 p.m. from the Scott Trade Center. If the Blues want to win, they will have to stop Ryan Ellis from the Predators, who is tied for 9th in most goals in this playoff with 4.
It's always that guy.
Yeah.
It's always, like San Jose had that guy last year. There's some defenseman that's bearded.
It's not
of course,
like,
everybody's bearded
now. It's
now.
not like PK Subban's.
Right. Well, no, he was great, actually.
Well, yeah.
He's been great. But no, I know what you're saying. It's not their best player beating you. It's Ryan Ellis.
Yes.
It's just driving me nuts. But we also need a center and a forward. Anybody down in St. Louis that's a center or a forward, if you want to score a goal, that'd be great. We'd love to have you come aboard.
I was looking at the postseason stats of the Blues, and it's all defensemen.
It's all defensemen.
Goals.
It's ridiculous. And Vladdy. That's it.
Check out that game on NBC Sports Network. The Kentucky Derby is this weekend, and the favorite for the fastest 2 minutes in sports is currently the horse named Always Dreaming. The big race post time is 5:34 p.m. The Kentucky Derby is broadcast on NBC. The Cardinals fell to the Brewers 5-4 last night from Busch. Fowler and Piscotty both left the game. Piscotty will go to the DL. Tommy Pham called up. And the Cubs and Yankees are playing, and the Cubs are winning 2-0.
Oh, that's
right
cute.
now.
That's really cute,
It's
Austin.
exciting. Right?
Really cute.
27 World Championships.
11.
I can't talk crap.
So you got
I'm
27. We've got 11. Austin, you got 3. Austin's like, I didn't do anything. I did not do one thing. I just simply said a score.
He said the score. That was it.
And to his honor, or to his credit, he said at the very end, it was almost like a throw-in. Like, he could have easily started the thing off with saying the Cubs and Yankees are playing and the Cubs are winning. So we apologize, Austin. So go ahead and call Kevin. He's mad at us.
We got some great names here. It's the Tay and J Show, by the way.
Oh, and before we get to the names, and Kevin, I have started song number 2, I think, on the Losing My Past soundtrack.
Is it a party song? Is it a ballad?
It's a country song.
But I mean, like, is it? What's the idea?
The idea would be of meeting a girl, I guess, and kind of how it was a random meeting, and then boom, it turned into something.
Okay.
So I'm on, like, I've got the chorus written, but I need you to help me with the actual music.
How about this?
Okay.
We add this caveat into it because I saw Special Night was in the lyric.
Right.
So what if a line ends Special Night, and then instead of rhyming it exactly, we rhyme it kind of with Worlds Collide. Right?
Ooh.
So, and the idea is that you have two people from very different walks of life, right?
Okay.
And it was on this special night that worlds collided.
I like that.
Right. So it might be more ballady.
I think you and I are going to collaborate.
I think this is the new Lennon McCartney.
Yes. I think we're going to collaborate. One of our songs is going to hit a big in Nashville or somewhere.
Well, I got the country song I wrote for the band.
Yes.
And we have Losing My Past.
Yep. So we each have a song we've written and produced.
And they're very diverse because yours is about losing,
I lost my dad. And so I talk about how all the guys that are now passing away that are kind of reminding me of my dad's memories.
The passage of time, right? And then my song, You Can Haunt Me Anytime, was about lost love, right?
Okay.
So this one could be about finding love.
Yes, we're going to turn this around.
Worlds collide.
I bet Kevin Wheeler's going to buy this soundtrack when it's done. Kevin Wheeler, how are you, buddy?
I'm good. You got anything about getting caught in a mosh pit?
No, not yet. We will, just for you, we'll throw on like a heavy metal song at the very end. Will that work?
Awesome. I'll throw in some background vocals if you need them.
Yes.
Kevin, we're having some fun with the listeners today on the text line. We asked them what their favorite baseball name is.
Ooh.
What is your favorite baseball name?
Current or all time?
All time.
Yeah, or maybe both.
Oh, my goodness. There's so many good ones.
It's hard. It's hard. Like Dante Bichette was a good one.
Yeah, that's a great one.
I like that one.
You know, probably my favorite one, and it goes back to my childhood in Detroit, was Chance Summers.
That's a great one. Right?
That's perfect for baseball.
It almost sounds like a character from Anchorman. But Champ Summers was kind of a badass. He was a Vietnam veteran and big power hitter, left-hander. He wasn't a great player, but he was a guy that a lot of people back in Detroit in the late 70s and 80s kind of liked.
I like that. Kevin, somebody sent in on our text line and said, Lon will like this, Harmon Killebrew. I'm like, heck yeah, anything with beer in it. I'm all for that.
Yeah, you really can't go wrong there. I'll tell you what, one of the new ones, not that long ago, I just heard him. In fact, it's maybe an hour and a half ago, I just heard him do an interview on Sirius XM MLB Network Radio. The kid from Pittsburgh, Kipton Gope, is a pretty fun name.
He's from Africa, right? What? I mean, is this the
first major leaguer ever from the continent of Africa.
Wow. That'll be a cool story to watch. I know he made his debut the other night, went 2 for 3, said he had a blast in that game. That will be that will be a fun story to kind of follow as we go along. Kevin Wheeler's our guest, 101 ESPN. Let's get nitty gritty now. Kevin, this Cardinals team, I'm not complaining. They're a game under 500. It's early. They're just not very fun to me. They're kind of boring to me. Am I in the majority there?
I think so. Yeah, I think so, because it's not very fun to watch a team kick the baseball all over the field.
Amen.
I think that if you could actually catch baseball, throw to the right base, not get picked off the bases all the time, there would be a lot more positive action, and that would make them more fun. I mean, A, they would be winning a lot more games, and B, they'd be scoring more runs if guys weren't constantly getting thrown out on the base path. So I don't disagree at all. I think that probably fits into the majority of what I hear from our listeners in St. Louis. And I know from my perspective, it provides a lot of content for the show, but it's not the kind of content I want.
Right.
It's tiresome and old when you've got almost as many errors as games played at this stage of the year.
Kevin, at this stage, and it's still early in the season, but, managers in baseball often get too much blame.
Right.
And sometimes they get too much credit. It seems like it's one extreme or the other. When it comes to Matheny, and you mentioned just kind of the sloppy play that we're seeing, can you attribute any of that to the manager, or are we looking at a situation where you have, for the most part, veteran major league players that just are not doing their job?
Yeah, I mean, in this case, guys, there's only a few things I blame managers for. So in Mike's case, I would say sometimes he has problems with communication with players. He seems like he's fine in communications with the veteran players, but he's had a harder time connecting with the younger guys. But he's even admitted that. And even the other day, he talked about how much he's had to learn and try to adjust so that he can communicate better with a guy like Colt Wong and do that. So I would say that and maybe a lot of his late-game moves, like pitching moves and double switches, like those are the things you can talk about for managers to me.
Sure.
When grown men can't stop kicking the baseball around, it's not on the manager. I mean, I don't care what anybody says, because there's no reason why Matt Carpenter can't field his position at first base. There's no reason why Stephen Piscotty and Randall Grichuk can't throw to the right base.
Right.
There's no reason why Colt Wong can't make a normal play rather than the panic play. I mean, and by the way, there's no reason why Yadier Molina doesn't block baseballs anymore and he tries to stick them.
Good call.
I mean, that's not on the manager, man. That's all on those grown men.
Great call. Kevin Wheeler, 101 ESPN. Love getting Kevin's thoughts on the Cardinals, and I'm going to ask you a couple of Blues, too. You can follow Kevin, as well would be the right grammar. You can follow Kevin on Twitter, at Kevin Wheeler 94. What a crappy night last night. Speaking of nights, Stephen Piscotty goes down. He heads to the DL. Tommy Pham coming up. Dexter Fowler awaiting MRI results, and you lose. I mean, that wasn't fun. What is this going to – I mean, I've thought to myself – I don't want to lose Piscotty, and I definitely don't want to lose Fowler, but maybe Tommy Pham can inject some excitement into this lineup.
I hope so. I mean, he's hit the crap out of the ball at Memphis, so there's a little hope there that maybe he catch a little fire in the short term. And we saw in 2015 when he got an opportunity, he did something with it. I mean, he went out and hit the baseball, and he was hitting the ball almost as well as anybody in the big league there for about a month-long stretch. So hopefully you get a little bit of luck there. But aside from that, I mean, there's nothing good about the possibility of losing those two guys. You do have an intriguing bat in Jose Martinez,
yes,
right? I mean, I think we've all been said, it'd be kind of fun to see what he would do if he got a few more at bats. And obviously, I'm a big Tommy Pham guy. On my show, people jokingly tell me I'm the president of the Tommy Pham fan club. So I think you can get by, but only for a while, man. There's only so long you can get by without two of your best on-base guys. So if it's only, 10 days, if it's only a couple of weeks, they can be okay. if we're talking about a month for either of these guys, I mean, we're talking about major problems.
That's a good point. That's a great point. Hey, we had a caller call in and ask about Jose Oquendo and the latest on him. I know he had the knee issue, and then he decided, obviously, he did not want to manage or coach anymore at the big league level. Can you fill us in on what Jose Oquendo is doing now? Because I'm sure a lot of our listeners that are Cardinals fans are thinking, since Jose left or since Jose was gone that 1 year, it seems like our defense and base running and everything has just gone to kapoots.
Yeah. I mean, the way you described it is right. He had knee replacement surgery at the end of spring training last year, so it was going to put him out for the year. He wasn't going to be able to make it back to coach last year. And when he looked at it moving forward, he decided, and this is what he's told reporters, this is what the team has said, so, people can have their doubts, but
Sure.
I believe it. He wants to live in Florida.
Okay.
So he's down in Jupiter. He's down in the Palm Beaches. He's working with the Cardinals minor leaguers, working with the young guys. At his heart, he's a teacher. So I think he probably looks at it and says he can do a lot more teaching in that regard. Maybe he's looking at quality of life, too, and maybe got a little tired of the day-to-day grind of being a big league coach and all the travel and just wants to be in Florida.
Good for him.
So, I mean, that last part I'm speculating, but I know that he has said he wants to be down there and he wants to be working with the kids. And it's going to be important here in the not-too-distant future because it won't be long before that kid, Delvin Perez, is going to be at Palm Beach.
Right.
And that's a guy you want to have Oquendo impact. Now, as for the effect that has on the major league team, I think there's got to be some, right? I mean, Oquendo's a guru. He's really good at instinctively knowing where to put guys and when to shift and when to not shift. He's got a lot in that regard, but I'll go back to the same thing that part of my answer when you asked me about the impact of Matheny on this stuff. These are grown men, man. If they need their hand held by Oquendo, it's time to grow up. It's time to cut the cord and handle it. And we're not talking about 21 and 22-year-old kids. I mean, even some of the younger guys are 25, 26, 27 years old. So, if that's part of the problem, I'd be surprised given their age. But let's not forget that Oquendo was with these guys for 7-8 weeks in spring training.
Right.
They couldn't possibly have forgotten everything in the first month of the season. So I think it goes beyond his lack of presence.
Kevin, let's say the Cardinals find themselves around the trading deadline and they're, right around 500, a little bit under, and it's clear that this isn't a team that is going to be making a run at a World Series. I know rebuild isn't part of the Cardinals' vernacular,
sure,
but one comp, I guess, would be what the Yankees did last year, in that they did have some pieces that would have been of some value to other teams. They were able to get younger pieces in its stead and then continue to just kind of build towards a long-term goal. Is that something that might be on the table, you think, if they find themselves in that position in July? Or is that just something that, maybe there aren't even discussions about something like that?
Well, I think Mo will be open to anything. I mean, he's pretty smart guy. So, I mean, if he looks at it and in his assessment there's no reason to hang on, he'll make a move. But, given the circumstances in the National League, I don't know that 500 is that far out of the wild card race.
Right.
I mean, the Mets don't have Syndergaard for 3 months. The Giants don't have Bumgarner for 2 or 3 months. They're both struggling in the standings. The Pirates don't have Marte for 3 months. They're struggling in the standings. I mean, I think if you're 500 in July, you're thinking we got 2 months left, and all we need to do is be 5 or 6 games over 500 in the last 2 months, and we could be a wild card team.
Interesting.
So I could easily see standing pat there, or maybe even adding a piece at that point. Now, if you're 5, 6, 7 games under 500 at that point, then I could see them looking to move a Lance Lynn, maybe Solvano, given the value that relievers have been getting in deals in the last couple of years.
Right.
So, I mean, I think there's a lot of ways it could go, but I would expect if they're anywhere near the middling 500 mark, they just kind of stand pat or maybe even add something.
Great stuff with Kevin Wheeler. I'm going to close with the Blues, Kevin. Confidence level for you. I'm still fairly confident that the Blues can get the win tonight, get back to Nashville. Let's see if you can win it there. And then, of course, you'd have Game 7 at home. It would be nice if a forward or a center not named Vladdy, I guess, would score, even though he hasn't really burned up the nets. I mean, what is your confidence level right now with regards to this Blues team and being able to come back in this series with Nashville?
Well, for tonight, I'd say I'm probably 60-40 in the positive. I feel pretty good about it. They did a lot of good things in Game 4. In Game 4. They just maintain discipline.
Agree.
I mean, they got to stay out of the box. and by the way, where you need those forwards to start coming through, Lon, is on the power play. I mean, they have the second worst power play of all the 16 NHL teams in the playoffs. So they're only converting on about 8% of chances in the postseason. Yeah. And that's just not good enough. When you look at what Nashville's done, taking advantage of the power play chances they've had, you got to do two things. You've got to do a little something when you have the man advantage, and you got to stop taking penalties and stop taking dumb penalties. I mean, I can't count in the last couple of games. You've had probably 4 or 5 that are just inexcusable.
Yep.
Just taking a penalty when the guy's already going to be going off the other team, like Steen flashing at Subban after Subban was already going to go off. So now you evened it up. You got the power play, and you get too many men on the ice. I mean, you got to clean that stuff up. So I don't think they're that far. I mean, you look at these games, guys. 4 games so far, 3 of them are 1-goal games.
Yes.
I feel pretty good about tonight. I don't feel good at all about winning the series. I mean, the odds are pretty strong, like 87% in favor of Nashville. But, the cliche is you win tonight, and then you can try to apply some pressure in Game 6. And if it goes to a Game 7, then a lot of the pressure shifts to the Nashville side. So
agree.
I'd say I'm not confident at all about, winning the series, but I feel pretty good about tonight.
Be hard to beat Pekka Rinne, I think, 3 straight times. That'll be the interesting thing as we go. But Jake Allen looked good. He kept you in it in Game 4. Kevin Wheeler, 101 ESPN. Follow him on Twitter, at Kevin Wheeler 94. Love your information, as always, buddy. We appreciate the time, Kevin.
You got it, guys. Anytime, man. We'll talk soon.
Okay, buddy. Kevin Wheeler, great stuff. I love when he comes on and starts breaking things down. He tells you how it is and doesn't beat around the bush. And he's right about the Blues with regards to their power play and the dumb penalties. Now, I think the Blues royally got screwed the other night when they called the extra penalty on the Blues when they had the 10-man scrum. I'm not sure that you saw it, so I won't make you break it down, but essentially what happened is you had 2 guys get into it, and then here comes everybody else. And in hockey, you've seen enough hockey, Carp, to know that when there's a fight going on, and in the playoffs, they don't necessarily fight.
Not much, no.
You don't see gloves being dropped often in the playoffs. They just don't do it. And not like the regular season. So a lot of times it's somebody coming in, and if it's a bigger guy scrumming with a smaller guy, then a lot of times the bigger guy on your team will come in and grab that big guy and say, hey, even this up. Quit picking on you-know-who. So Ryan Reeves is that guy for the Blues. Well, he came in, and he got a face full of the Predators guy. So it's one of those situations where then everybody's kind of holding everybody. The next thing you know, there's 2 Blues in the penalty box. There's 1 in Nashville. And a lot of experts, if you will, around the league were sitting there thinking, why is that the case? Why did the Blues get the extra there? And Alex Pietrangelo, the captain of the Blues, the ref would not talk to him and explain it to him. And that really fired him up, and I think it fired up Mike Yeo as well, the coach of the Blues. But he's right. You've got to start scoring. If you don't score, and I know Pekka Rinne's good, and he's the best goalie right now in the playoffs. You can look at the stats to prove that, but you've got to get some pucks behind him. And that's what the Blues did so well against Minnesota and Dubnyk, but they're not doing against Rinne. So we'll see tonight. I mean, it's one of those, listen, you're down 3-1, but if you win tonight, it's 3-2. All you have to do is win 1 more in Nashville to try to force that cool, and it is cool in NHL playoffs at Game 7 back in St. Louis. So we'll see what happens, but that I think that drops the puck tonight at 7 o'clock. All right, Chris Block. He owns Chris Block Racing Stables. He's going to join us at 4:05, get us ready for the Kentucky Derby, which runs tomorrow. But when we come back, Cart brought up a great idea and a good question for our Chief Bauer text line, and that is just cool baseball names, and we have tons of them.
Tons.
So we will go through these when we come back. Keep sending them in at 359-2255. That's 217-359-2255. It is the Tay and J Show.
Need new tires? How would you like to save $200 on a set of 4 select Goodyear tires? Right now at CarX Tire and Auto, get up to $200 in savings when you purchase a set of 4 Goodyear tires and use the CarX Drive Card credit card. Your Champaign CarX man has the right tires for your vehicle at any of his 3 convenient locations. And now up to $200 off. Stop in, call, or schedule online at CarX.com.
Don't worry, call the CarX man.
See store for details.
Hey, this is Brad again with Kramer Siding and Window Company, and for over 60 years, we've been providing worry-free home improvements. If you've thought about either siding, windows, maybe you need to replace that roof, How about a deck, a pergola, awnings? We also have the four-season sunrooms and screen rooms, or the gutter helmet. If any of those home improvements are in your near future, call us right now at Kramer Siding or stop by our beautiful showroom at 708 North Country Fair Drive.
Our Stevie J Broadcasting Law Enforcement Official of the Month is Dan Ward, Senior Patrol Officer for the Champaign Police Department. You've just got a good read on people. You can sense the perceptive nature you have, Dan.
Thank you very much.
You love what you do.
I do. It's great. It is.
It's so fun to wake up and like what you do.
Yes.
And your family's all supportive? And
of course, yeah. My wife, Bobby, she's great. When I take off in the middle of the night for some big call, great, love you. You know, call me when you're done.
Right.
So
be careful. Is she apprehensive at all?
Sure. And I think she, like you, is very defensive.
Yeah.
I'll come home and I'll tell her a story and she'll get mad. And I'm like, honey, I'm not mad. And she'll get mad. So it's nice.
Okay, good. Okay, so my ranting and raving is okay. I mean, the police roll their eyes at me. I mean, you guys tired of me?
Never. Okay. Never.
I'm going to do it till I'm done doing it. So
sounds good.
Dan, I really appreciate you and appreciate all that you do for Champaign Police.
Thank you very much.
Brought to you by SK Exteriors. Their website, callsktoday.com.
A catalog of songs that have defined a generation. One of the greatest bands in music history. It's all led up to this. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, the 40th anniversary tour, with very special guest, Joe Walsh. May 10th, 7:30, State Farm Center in Champaign. Tickets are on sale now at statefarmcenter.com. Presented by State Farm Center.
Join the Prairie Lands Council for their 2017 Distinguished Citizens Dinner, this year honoring the Atkins family. Wednesday, May 17th at Stone Creek Golf Club. Don't miss this fun evening with heavy hors d'oeuvres and drinks, along with a wonderful program and awards presentation. Tickets for this event honoring 2017 Distinguished Citizens are on sale now. Support Scouting. $250 per person or $400 per couple. Buy tickets today by calling 531-0218. That's 531-0218.
Winning can be fun, and we love giving away free stuff, but we want to make sure it's fair for everyone. So here are the rules when competing to win on ESPN 93.5. No purchase necessary. Prize must be collected within 30 days during business hours, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. at 2702 Boulder in Urbana. ESPN Radio assumes no liability due to circumstances beyond our control, and any prize may be substituted with a prize of equal or greater value. Winners are liable for any taxes, tips, or other miscellaneous charges associated with the prize. All contestants must have a valid ID and social security number. Our judges' decisions are final and reserve the right to end any contest at any time for any reason without notice. In the event that a contestant is found to be ineligible for a prize, said prize will not be awarded. And if you win, we reserve the right to use your likeness or voice on the radio or online, and any winners must wait 30 days to win again. Get a complete list of rules and more information on any contest on ESPN Radio at ESPNCU.com. Those are the rules, and good luck from ESPN 93.5.
Yeah, so that, I don't know, that's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's cool.
The benefit of a windy day.
You didn't realize it right at the time, but now you do. All right, it's the Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Lante, Mike Carpenter, take it away, because you have started a absolute landslide on our cheap hour text line.
I'm sorry. I was just distracted by Pedro Strop nearly pulling a hammy in celebration after striking out Aaron Judge.
We were just sitting there, and I told Austin, I'm like, it was so cute when the Cubs
it's
sucked.
not cute this weekend.
It's not.
Not for me.
Nope.
I just get one.
Whatever.
At frickin' Wrigley Field. No sweep.
No, you can still sweep them. Come on, we're not losing faith.
No, we aren't. But I mean, you got Wade
Yankees.
Davis coming up in the 9th. He's been pretty good so far this year.
27
but the question that we have, and we're going to be taking this all show long. By the way, we will be off around 5:35 or so.
Okay.
Cardinals pregame kicks off at 5:40 for their game at Atlanta. That's a 6:35 first pitch. But the question we have throughout the show today is your favorite baseball name, and we have gotten a ton of these. And the first one that we got was from Caleb in Champaign, and that would have been Mickey Morandini.
Yes.
So that was a great start there.
Great call.
And then I guess I'll just kind of go up here.
Just go through them, yeah.
Andre Scalaraga, that's from Heath.
The old Rocky.
Skip Schumacher.
Yeah.
Delino DeShields.
Oh, yeah, he's a good second
That's
baseman.
also from Caleb. That's a good one. Coco Crisp.
Mm-hmm. Came up in the Cardinals system.
Here are three of them. Pete Vukovich.
Yeah, Pete Vukovich. That's an old Cardinal or Cub, one of the two.
Tom Pagnazzi.
Yeah, Pags. I've got some good Pag stories.
And Von Hayes.
My dad hated Tom Pagnazzi and said that guy would hit into a double play with nobody on. And he would throw in a couple of expletives in there.
Catcher Mike Lieberthal.
Yep.
From the Phillies. Benito Santiago. That's a great name. Rolls off the tongue. Rip Rapolsky.
Didn't know him.
He was Cardinals outfielder from the mid-50s. That's from Bob and Champaign. Harmon Killebrew was another one from out there. This is a great one I'd never even heard of. Only played 3 seasons in the majors, 2 of them with Detroit. Boots Poffenberger.
I never heard of that.
Yep.
Boots Poffenberger.
That's from the 217. Okay. Also from Heath, Cesar Geronimo.
Cesar Geronimo. Had a big home run one year in the postseason, I think.
Minnie Minoso. Mm-hmm. That's a great name.
What are you, a White Sox, right?
Yep.
Played for the White Sox.
Bill Hall.
Yep. Bill Hall hit the first home run ever in this new Busch Stadium.
Really? Okay.
I was there on opening day in 2006.
Who did he play for?
Brewers.
Was he Cardinal? Oh, Brewers.
Played for the Brewers.
That's
and he
right.
Had
I remember
first
him.
home run in that stadium history.
Chuck Knobloch.
Yeah. He was the guy who played for the Yankees.
And
didn't he have a throwing issue?
He had the yips.
He had the Steve Sachs yips.
Yes, he did. He was playing second base, and I think it was maybe 99 or 2000. It was in the middle of their title run, and he was just overthrowing first base.
Isn't that weird?
From second. So they actually, it never got fixed. They moved him to left field.
That is weird.
Yeah.
The White Sox catcher right now, I think, has an issue with throwing the ball back to the pitcher. Have you ever seen this? He has to lean forward on his knees and lob it back.
The White Sox catcher.
The catcher for the White Sox right now. It's the weirdest thing that all of a sudden a guy can steal second, and this guy can catch it and like a bullet throw it down to second base. But on a regular throw back to the pitcher, you can see him kind of... Mackie Sasser had that same problem back for the Mets, where he had this brain, like something in his mind would not allow him to throw the ball back to the pitcher. So he had to he would pump, and then all of a sudden he would just kind of lob it back. It was the weirdest thing.
Here's a name that I'd never heard of, but I guess was a pretty good player back in the 80s. Oil Can Boyd.
Dennis Oil Can Boyd for the Red Sox.
166 home runs in his career.
Weighed about 160 pounds.
Yeah.
I mean, just this skinny dude, and it was unbelievable. Yes.
Scipio Spinks.
Don't know him.
Let me effort that real quick. There he is,
Spinks.
1969 to 1973.
Okay.
Scipio Spinks actually pitched a couple years for the Cardinals.
Oh.
And
I did
he was
not
a reliever.
remember that name.
Let's see, a couple other names here. Razor Shines.
I don't remember him either.
Robin Yount. Yount.
Really good with the Brewers when they were in the NL.
I just had a moment
in the AL,
that probably lost me a lot of credibility with a lot of people.
Listen, these are guys that came up before you.
Lenny Dykstra. Raleigh Fingers is a great name.
Great call.
Let's see, a few more here. Pete
Dan
LaCroix.
Quisenberry. How about that?
Dan Quisenberry.
Yep, he pitched for the Royals.
Not to be confused with Peter Schnozberry from the Brewers. No, he's not. He does exist. I don't know if I can say this. Pete La something from the Cubs.
Yeah, Pete LaCock.
Yeah, Pete LaCock.
Yeah, that guy.
Sugar Cane.
That's his name, so.
Sure, that's true. Sugar Cane from the White Sox.
Sugar Cane, really?
Yeah, Sugar Cane. Cain.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Dizzy Dean.
Yes.
There you go.
Dizzy and Daffy. Daffy's even better.
Stubby Clapp.
Yep. He was a Cardinals favorite, baby.
Bud Weiser from the Phillies.
Really?
No joke. Yeah. Catfish Hunter is a great name. Of course, Moose Haas.
Mm-hmm.
Milton Bradley, the gaming company and the baseball player.
Milton Bradley, man, what a weird dude.
Socrates Brito.
What?
Joaquin Andujar.
Joaquin Andujar pitched for the Cardinals, won a World Series in '82.
And Willie Mays Hayes. Not a real player, but
right.
Xavier Scruggs, Biscuit Johnson.
Wow,
Biscuit. I'm looking at Biscuit Johnson.
Dude, these are great, man. Biscuit Johnson sounds like the horse that starts in the 6th pole. Is that what you call it in the Derby?
And I'm not finding him on Baseball Reference.
Okay, maybe that's a made-up name. Maybe he's talking about the horse for the Derby.
It should be a real name.
It should be. Keep sending them in. 359-2255. When we come back, Chris Block Racing Stables. We'll talk some Kentucky Derby when we return.
I know we're running late here, but I have to get this out. Someone said, wait a second, Oil Can Boyd could not have hit 166 home runs. He was a pitcher.
Oh, yeah. Well, did you say that?
Yeah. He gave up 166 home runs in 10 years.
I'm sorry. Yeah, he was a pitcher, about a 160-pound pitcher for the Red Sox.
Yeah, okay, never mind. That was a bad error by my part.
Hey, we're back. It's the Tay and J Show.
Hi, I'm Troy Lands from Lands Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, your Trane Comfort Specialist. Right now is a great time to buy a new Trane heating and cooling system from Lands. For a limited time only, we're offering 0% interest for 6 years. That's no interest with equal payments and approved credit for 6 years on any qualifying Trane system. Or, here's another way you can save on a new Trane heating and cooling system from Lands. Trade in your old system. For a limited time, you can get a $1,000 trade-in allowance on any qualifying Trane system. So pick your best deal. No interest for 6 years or a $1,000 trade-in allowance and start saving. Call 1-800-AIR-REPAIR or find us online at landsinc.com. Remember, it's hard to stop a train. I'm Troy Lands, and you can count on my company because you can count on me.
See Lands for program details. Call 888-653-0051 for details about credit costs and terms. Regular APR is 28.99 for newly opened accounts. APR may vary, subject to credit approval.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
From New York, The Fox Report.
And Lisa Brady. A delayed reaction on Wall Street. The Dow up 55 points, closing back over 21,000 after being down for much of the session, despite a stronger than expected jobs report. The NASDAQ closing above 6,100 for the first time, also a new closing high for the S&P at 2399. There was a surge in hiring in April. Fox's Hillary Barsky here live with more.
Lease employers adding 211,000 jobs for the month, according to the Labor Department. A sign the economy's sluggish growth in the first 3 months of the year might be temporary. The unemployment rate ticking down to 4.4% from 4.5%, reaching its lowest level in a decade. However, weak wage growth is a concern. Average paychecks grew more slowly, increasing 2.5% over the past 12 months, which is below March's figure. Lisa?
Thanks, Hillary. For the overall jobs report, the White House claiming some credit.
President's economic agenda of serious tax reform, slashing burdensome regulations, rebuilding our infrastructure, and negotiating fairer trade deals is adding jobs across the country.
Deputy spokeswoman Sarah Huckabee Sanders says the president's team is laser focused on creating jobs. House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi says there hasn't been a single job creating bill from the president in Congress. Pentagon officials just confirming that the president's nominee for Army Secretary has withdrawn from consideration. Mark Green is a state senator in Tennessee who's been criticized recently for his legislative record and past statements on LGBT issues and evolution. Green says his Christian beliefs have been mischaracterized with false and misleading attacks for political gain, but that he does not want to be a distraction. You're on the Fox Report, fair and balanced.
Ready for a new tractor? At LS Tractor, we'll be the first to tell you to shop and compare. That's right, shop our competition. We're that confident that the LS Tractor combination of more standard features, better performance, competitive price, and proven commitment to customer satisfaction deliver value that's unequaled by another tractor. Period. Want more tractor for your money? Look around. You'll see there's one that gives it to you. LS Tractor. Excel in your field. Learn more at lstractorusa.com.
Looks like some cable and phone companies are trying to sell home security. But when a burglar sees one of their signs in the front yard, what does it say? Oh, wow, this home has 599 channels. Or, oh, these guys have high-speed internet. But the ADT sign, it says, this family trusts the company whose name means security. So beat it. It's no wonder 5 times more people choose ADT to protect their homes.
Learn more at ADT.com and to see licensing and terms and conditions.
Prosecutors in Maryland are dropping the rape charges in a high-profile case against 2 illegal immigrant teenagers accused of assaulting a 14-year-old girl at a school in Rockville.
Due to the lack of corroboration and substantial inconsistencies from the facts that we have obtained from multiple sources, since the filing of the original charging document.
Montgomery County State's Attorney John McCarthy says the original charges cannot be sustained. Both suspects are still facing child pornography charges. It's been 13 years since a young woman and her fiancé, two Christian camp counselors, were shot to death on a beach in Northern California as they slept. Now a suspect is in custody.
I think there's a joy for the community. I mean, this shocked the community of Jenner. It was traumatic for them and for Sonoma County.
County Sheriff Steve Freitas says it's also a degree of closure for the families. Freitas says the 38-year-old suspect, Sean Gallen, was arrested for the murder of his own brother and during questioning revealed details about the previous killings that no one could have known. Still no word, though, on a motive. Break out the mint juleps and an umbrella.
The run for the Roses is going to be a messy one. Heavy rain in the forecast for Saturday's Kentucky Derby at Churchill Downs. A 20-horse field will vie for the winner's circle in the first leg of horse racing's Triple Crown. Doug O'Neill trained last year's Derby winner Nyquist, and he's back this year with IRAP out of the 9-post.
Yeah, it would be incredible if we got lucky on Saturday, and it would be something you couldn't even put into words how incredible that would be.
And O'Neill has his same jockey from last year, Mario Gutierrez. Gutierrez, a two-time Kentucky Derby winner, one of 5 jockeys riding in Saturday's Kentucky Derby that have previously won.
Fox's Matt Napolitano, the current favorite, always dreaming at 9-2. The longest of several long shots is untrapped at 60-1. In New York, I'm Lisa Brady on Fox News Radio.
You know, Lisa, why don't you leave the Kentucky Derby chatter to us?
Yeah, she kind of scooped us.
She did.
We have Chris Block coming up, and we're going to talk some horse racing.
And then Lisa Brady is telling us about some 60-1 horse.
Yeah, Lisa,
whatever.
Stick to the politics and whatnot.
And everybody hates sports, but then they always want to throw the big sports thing on their big national
And that's like their cutesy little story at the end of the newscast.
Right, their kicker.
It's like, and now a cat fashion show. And now
a squirrel on a skateboarder.
Hey, look, it's a mongoose on a water skiing.
Look at that python eating that crocodile. How cute.
Here's your ESPN 3-day forecast. Brought to you by Chief Bauer for all your heating and air conditioning needs. Give Chief Bauer service experts a call at 866-EXPERTS or visit online at chiefbauer.com. Tonight getting down to 45. Tomorrow 59 and sunny with a low of 37. The wind dies down as well. Sunday 61 and sunny, low of 39. And right now 63, sunny and very, very windy.
Well done. Well.
As Hector Rondon takes the mound to get the save.
Let me guess. This is JC. Why are you and I not rapping something today? My mouth is too dry to be able to...
I'll beatbox, you rap.
All right, it is the Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5.
I was driving into work yesterday,
Yep.
And I heard Hall & Oates, Kiss on My List.
Wow.
I did.
Wow.
Made me think of our little list. Maybe we can do a list later. Yep.
He's got a list. Jeremy has got a list. He's got a list. Jeremy has got a list. 'Cause we love to go through lists just to mess with the lawn.
I love that I'm always the butt of the joke.
There is a big event tomorrow, and I was lucky enough to be in attendance last year for the
stretch
100 and something running of it. Nyquist.
Chris will be able to tell us.
Nyquist was the winner last year of the Kentucky Derby, and 2 years ago was the Triple Crown.
Yes.
So as we get ready for the 2017 Kentucky Derby,
is awesome.
It's time to actually here. You're better bringing people on.
No, that's all right. Well, I mean, he joins us every year, and Chris is our hidden gem that we're able to bring on. Chris Block Racing Stables. Chris, how are you, my friend?
I'm great, guys. How are you guys today?
You are ready to roll, aren't you? Is this Christmas Eve for a guy like you?
It is. Yeah, this is a day we all look forward to, and especially if you're in the industry like myself and my family. We, the ultimate dream and goal of any horse owner, breeder, trainer would be to have a horse in the Kentucky Derby. And if we can't have one in it, then the next best thing is to sit back and enjoy the preps for it. And then, of course, the day that the actual Derby runs is quite a fun time to watch these horses compete on the national stage tomorrow.
I want to tell everybody, if you have a question out there at 359-2255, 217-359-2255, you can text the Chief Bauer text line if you have a question for Chris getting ready for the Kentucky Derby. Chris, in other sports, like, for instance, the shift, in baseball. Or, what was the old offense that Steve Young and the 49ers ran back in the day? The West Coast offense. There's always these little things that come along, trends that come along. Is there ever any kind of a trend like that in horse racing?
Well, when you say trends in horse racing, I would think that what appears to be pretty prevalent in the industry now is that speed is pretty dominant in a lot of these races. And when I say speed, I'm talking about horses who show early foot out of the gate and then as the saying is, run the rest of them off their feet. So one of the better trainers in the country and the Hall of Famer Bob Baffert, as my dad and I were talking earlier today, his horses go out there, they break sharp, they show the speed. A lot of these racetracks, for some reason, and I'm not sure why the racetracks do this, but they make the track sort of speed bias on these big days. So there's a prevalence for those horses that lay close to have the advantage over the deep closers. And so that seems to be, for me, from what I've seen over the last 5 to 10 years, is speed seems to be more dominant than it is for horses that close. Now that's on dirt. On turf, it's different. But on the national scene, on dirt, in these bigger races, speed seems to be something that holds up. Not all the time, but a high majority of the time, and that seems to be the trend.
Carp, this is why I love Chris, because he can take a dumb question that I ask and turn it into what seems like a really good question. That's what I love about it, which is awesome.
Don't sell your question short.
Okay,
it is Chris Black from the Chris Black Racing Stables joining us ahead of the Kentucky Derby tomorrow. And I'm looking at the forecast, Chris, and it would not be a Kentucky Derby weekend without some inclement weather, but it's been a rainy day down there for the Oaks, and tomorrow it looks like a pretty good chance, at least for some morning rain, and only a high of 58. Ugh. So does that kind of change, not the approach, I suppose, of how the horses would run, but certainly does it benefit other horses? I guess the old idea of, this horse is a mutter.
Right.
Are we going to need a mutter tomorrow to emerge from the pack?
Well, certainly it would help if a horse had some experience on a wet racetrack. That's number one. Number two, here again, it's what I was just talking about, speed. Speed seems to hold better on a wet racetrack. Now, I've watched some of the races down there today, and they were talking about the commentators there on NBC Sports were talking about how it's been predominantly speed bias with the wet track. So. But I see the forecast tomorrow. It looks like rain until early afternoon, then it may move out of there. So you may have a track that changes as the afternoon goes on tomorrow. So I've sort of gone through and looked at the horses that I think will like the off going, and it's funny. I've looked at it here, and the horses that I think are the best horses in the race are also the ones I think will handle the off track. So I think that when you get to this level. In this type of race, a lot of times pedigree does play into an off track, but I think predominantly a lot of these horses are in here should like the off going.
And Chris, we will ask you before we're done, because I know a lot of people listening right now are thinking, all right, Chris, I got $20, I got $100 I want to throw down. Who are some of the horses that you want to eye? We'll get to that before we end the interview. But Chris, I think it's a great question Mike asked you about maybe the way the conditions could be sloppy. Can you change your strategy as a trainer or as right before this race? How difficult is that? How risky, I guess, is that to change a strategy? Because I did read that some are saying we're not going to change. We're going to do what we think is the best for our horse. So how do you kind of approach that come race day?
Well, certainly I would have to agree with whoever those that said that. You can't change the style or the method of which these horses have been brought along. They kind of develop after a few starts, a pattern of how they might approach the race, how they leave the starting gate, where they position themselves, whether they're forwardly placed, maybe they're like what I call a stalker, where they lay in right behind the speed, or maybe they come from back and are a deep closer. If you try to push a deep closer into an early pace, they're not going to finish, no matter what the type of surface is and how the bias is of the racetrack. If you have a horse who's a stalker, you might be able to put them into the race, make them lay a little closer, and still get a great performance out of them. And horses who show speed on a speed bias racetrack that's wet and if they handle the off-going, certainly their chances are going to improve with that bias. So it's hard to change what you've developed in a horse, and you just got to hope they maybe can overcome the bias if, in fact, they're going to be affected by it.
Chris, I'm looking at the list of horses here and their trainers, and one name that's noticeably absent is Bob Baffert, who is sort of at least for me, a very casual horse racing spectator. That one very familiar face.
Sure.
Is this unusual, or am I just is my selective memory always kind of putting Bob Baffert in the mix of this thing?
No, but Bob has always had, he's always been at the top. And when you think of the Kentucky Derby, you think of Todd Fletcher, you think of Wayne Lucas, you think of Bob Baffert. Those are the names that come to mind. And Bob actually had probably the best horse coming toward this race a month ago, and was an easy winner in, I believe it was the San Felipe, which is actually the race out there in California that's before the Santa Anita Derby. And unfortunately, that horse got hurt. And I think he probably goes on and wins the Santa Anita Derby, and probably is, if not maybe the favorite, but maybe the second choice here if he made it to the race. So yes, he actually had a couple other horses that just didn't rise to the level that they needed to be worthy of running here. And I think he just decided that he'd wait for another day for another race for those horses. But he actually did have what I thought was possibly the best horse in there that unfortunately got hurt.
That's too bad. All right, Chris Block is our guest. Chris, it's a two-part question, but essentially it deals with where you would want your horse to start on the post. What is the ideal position you would want your horse to start from? And number two, if it is a muddy, sloppy track, which could be the case at Churchill tomorrow, where would you want to start from the post? I know that looking at Lee will be from the number one post, but where would you ideally like him on a perfect day? And then in a muddy track like it could be tomorrow, where would you want to start your horse?
Well, certainly, no matter what the surface was going to be like down there tomorrow, I would not want to be in the 1 through 4 or 5. I think that spells trouble unless you have a horse that just is going to go straight out to the front and dictate the pace. There's just so much traffic you're going to get yourself caught up into going from the start of the race in toward that first turn, and it's just very difficult to be in one of those first 5 positions. Where I would want my horse to be, no matter whether he had speed or whether he was a stalker or closer, I'd probably want to be in between 7 and probably 16, somewhere in that range. And, the gate holds 14, and then they use an auxiliary gate, so there's going to be a little bit of a gap between 14 and 15. Those horses in those spots are probably just fine. They're going to should get a clean break and have a good spot where their riders are going to be able to judge the pace, the setup, going toward that first turn past the grandstand the first time. And so middle 7 through 14, 15, 16 is really probably for me the best spot. I wouldn't want to be further out because then you're looking at what it could be a very wide trip, and you won't want to be buried down inside because then you just could get yourself in all kinds of trouble.
And that doesn't change in muddy conditions, right?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
I think there's such a long stretch run to that first turn. It's better than just a little bit better than a quarter of a mile. Gives you plenty of chance to get yourself in a position. And, with a wet track and if the races prior to that, the riders will be watching very closely. The trainers will be watching closely. If there's a bias toward front end speed, oh boy, those horses are good. There's going to be a couple more horses that normally on paper aren't going to show that. These guys are going to try to push up there a little bit, even though what I said before, I wouldn't change my horse's style. They're going to take their shot to do that. So, I think that post position, as I speak of, give yourself the best chance to get yourself in the best position before you get into that clubhouse turn.
Chris, you were mentioning how there's going to be that separation between the 14 and 15 because of that auxiliary post. And I'm looking here at the postings for number 14, Classic Empire, who's the favorite for the race at 4-1, and then at 15, McCracken at 5-1. Are those maybe two of the horses to really watch for tomorrow?
There's no doubt those two guys are probably the best in the group here. I actually think that Classic Empire is probably the most talented. He's had his mental issues. If you go back to Saratoga in September, he left the gate in the race that he was the favorite, and he hung a right-hand turn, lost the rider. he's had his problems over the winter getting prepared for the Derby. They had him in South Florida, and I was watching it closely. He just refused to put in a workout a couple times, and they actually moved him up to Ocala to a training facility to prepare him for the Arkansas Derby. And I said to myself, if he wins the Arkansas Derby off of training at that training center, he is the real deal. And he did. He went up and he won the Arkansas Derby in good fashion. They said he's trained really well over at Churchill since then. Certainly, he's the most talented. It's just whether or not mentally he can hold it together tomorrow in front of 150,000 people. McCracken, he loves Churchill Downs. He's undefeated there. He had an unblemished record going into the Bluegrass. Now, he's also had his issues. He came out this year and won the prep for the Tampa Bay Derby and ran a very nice race there with a good time, came back with the right numbers. He then had an issue with an ankle. I believe he sprained an ankle, so Ian Wilkes, the trainer, decided to pass instead of pushing toward the Tampa Bay Derby. And then he came to the Bluegrass at Keeneland and ran a very so-so third. Now, I'm willing to give him that as a pass, and I think that this horse is better than that. He was kind of rank early on, maybe too fresh. I think he probably needed the race. I look for him to move forward tomorrow and run really well. He should like an off track. His pedigree suggests that. He's never run on an off track, but I think he'll like it. I think this horse, Irish War Cry of Graham Motions, is going to be in a great position to stalk the pace. He's a horse that's only has, again, one blemish on his record, and they really don't know what happened that time in the Fountain of Youth, but he came back and redeemed himself in the Wood Memorial. Distance is not an issue for him. Off track shouldn't be an issue for him at all either. And a horse that I think that is sitting on a big race is Chad Brown's horse, number 19, Practical Joke. He's a horse that has been there in every race he's run. He's run good numbers in all his races. This is his third start off of what I would call a nice freshening from last November till March when his first race back. He's been second in both of his starts. It looks like he's sitting on a race to go forward, and I look for him to run well tomorrow. Maybe some horses to watch here that I think that will run well tomorrow possibly would be Todd Fletcher's horse, Tapperit. He's bred to be a very, very nice horse. He ran a very poor race in the Bluegrass, and I don't believe there was an excuse in there, but from all reports I'm hearing, he's training like a monster at Churchill. I think he's got the talent to run really well tomorrow, and I think he will. And then you have to look at the California horses this year have not been like they have in the past. I mean, we've had California Chrome, we've had Pioneer. I mean, the Triple Crown winner from 2 years ago,
right?
And I think American Pharoah. This year, you've got Gormley, who won the Santa Anita Derby. It wasn't a stellar race. His number didn't come back that great. He had what we call buyer numbers, which rank really how they gives them a good gauge on how they ran. He had an 88 buyer in there. So I look for horses who have 95 or above that. But certainly, he's a horse with a lot of talent. He's run really well, except for one start. He had a poor start back in November in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. I look for him to move forward. And the horse that ran second to him, Battle of Midway, is a horse that looks like he's moving forward. He's only had 4 starts, but he was real game against Gormley in his last start in the Santa Anita Derby. And I think he's a horse that could lay close with speed and maybe be able to overcome the fast pace that could develop if the track is wet and continue on. He looks like a horse that is ready to take another step forward.
Fantastic breakdown, Chris. So here's what all of our listeners are asking. We've had about 10 texts come in. Essentially, this is what it is, Chris. If you've got $100 you're throwing on a horse with a decent odds, so maybe Classic Empire at 4-1 or something is not risky enough for you. If you got $100, and we're not going to hold you to it, who are you throwing it on tomorrow?
Well, I would say, okay, so I'm going to stay away from Classic Empire and McCracken because they're going to be the lower odds. So
sure.
we're going to take a little shot and I'm going to go to Practical Joke.
Okay.
He's 20 to 1 in the morning line. I think it's hard to say where he's going to end up at, but he's going to probably be 10 to 1 or better. And look, he's run 6 times, 3 wins, 2 seconds, and a third, earned over $1 million so far. He's got a Hall of Fame trainer in Chad Brown, future Hall of Fame trainer in Chad Brown. I think he's got the 3rd race off the layoff. I look for him to run really well tomorrow.
Love it. Chris, I got one last question. You mentioned that about Classic Empire, how he just took a right turn out of the gate and essentially threw his rider. It's interesting because I started laughing. I'm like, I didn't know horses had attitudes, but you probably see that, don't you? I mean, it's like a kid. Some of these horses have their own kind of attitude. How is that as a trainer? Not necessarily for the Derby tomorrow, but how is that as a trainer that you have to individually know each horse?
Well, it's what is the biggest challenge of a trainer.
Wow.
I think that these horses are exactly they're like kids, they're like human beings. They all have their own personality, and I think that kind of gets lost with maybe the general public, that they think that a horse is an animal and they've got they're all the same. No, sure. That's the one challenge that I have as a trainer, and probably every trainer in this country, that you got to get to know your horse. Know how exactly they adapt to the racing and to the environment in which you put them in, and what's best for them. What did they most thrive off of is what you need to build off of. And this Horse Classic Empire is loaded with talent, but he's given Mark Casse many sleepless nights on how his mental part of how he handles things. And I know it's been a real challenge getting him ready for the Kentucky Derby. And if he pulls it off tomorrow, Mark is he deserves major kudos for that, because I think it's really been a struggle to get him there. But he's multi-talented, and if he holds it together mentally, he's certainly the horse to beat.
So cool. Well, Chris, listen, we've known each other since we were kids, but for our listeners, kind of explain a little bit about what you do. And I know you're training a lot of horses to race up at Arlington, I believe. Just kind of sum up what you do, and then we'll let you go, my friend.
Well, it's my job as a racehorse trainer to take the athlete and develop it both mentally and physically, that they get it to go out there and compete at its best ability. Not all of them are cut out to be fast and brilliant horses, just like same way in football and baseball and basketball. Not all athletes are cut out for that. So we have to find the level of which they're most competitive. And as it is with anything, the cream will rise to the top. And but it's my job for the owners who give me the athletes and put their trust in me to not only physically get them ready, but the mental part, as we just spoke about, is a big part of it. So
right.
I have to watch what they do closely. I have to rely on my help to tell me exactly what they see, and work together to get the most out of that horse to go out so it can perform at its highest level.
Well done. All right. It's
awesome stuff.
It's great stuff. And Chris, I know we talk to you at least 3 times a year, and we'll do that again. In fact, we may have you back on Monday if the Derby produces something that's really cool. So Chris Block, thank you so much. As always, it's a great tradition to have you on, and it is amazing how much info I can get from you in 20 minutes. Thank you, sir.
Oh, absolutely, guys. I enjoy being on, and enjoy the Derby, and I look forward to talking to you shortly.
All right, buddy.
Cool.
Thank you. Chris Block, great stuff. Local kid that he could be wrong with everything. Like, everything he said, he could be lying, and I'd be like, wow.
Well, but the great thing, and this is every year that we have him on, and it is a May tradition into early June, and hopefully that by the time we would get to the, what's the third one?
Well, it's funny, because what's the second?
Belmont.
Preakness
and the Belmont in early June, so it's every other week, I think.
Yep.
So hopefully by the time we get to the Belmont, we can have another chance at a Triple Crown winner, because 2 years ago, that was super cool. I was at a wedding during the Belmont Stakes, and the actual ceremony got done just in time.
Just to see it?
For us to get into the lodge where there was a sports bar area. And
that's history. That's history.
I had not been alive for a Triple Crown.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
I want to notice one thing. Of course, he said Practical Joke would be the guy trained by Chad Brown. So, and for Chris Block or for guys like me that don't bet, I never bet. But what the heck, right? If you had $20 tomorrow and wanted to throw it down, or $100, Practical Joke would be the guy that he said to throw it on. The other one, Irish War Cry, and he mentioned Graham Motion, the trainer of Irish War Cry.
Yeah.
He's the one that said he's not going to change his strategy with the Colt if it rains. So he's never run on a wet track, but, and this is getting deep here, he was sired by Curlin, and Curlin sired Exaggerator, who finished second in a muddy track in 2016 at the Kentucky Derby. So I guess if you're wanting a couple of, I wouldn't want to call them long shots, but a couple of not favorites, he's thinking Practical Joke, and then also Irish War Cry as we get ready. The last Derby, by the way, Carp, won on a sloppy track was 2013. Orb won that one by 2.5 lengths.
I do not remember that name.
In conditions, Orb. So good
you know
stuff.
Who I'm going with?
I love the Derby.
I'm going. The name really strikes me.
Okay.
And the odds are, he's one of the favorites.
I wonder how many people, percentage-wise, bet on a horse in a race like this because of their name.
Yeah, and usually, like, if the odds are along with it, I wouldn't bet a name with 50-1 odds.
Right.
But McCracken. The 15 spot, like you said, at the post, 14 and 15 are going to have some space. So that's great for Classic Empire, who was the favorite at 4-1, and the McCracken at 5-1 at 15. But that name, McCracken.
McCracken.
Like, for me, it's like, can you envision that name
winning it?
2017 Kentucky Derby winner. McCracken.
McCracken on the inside. I like it.
Though Classic Empire, that name is just, that is a lofty name for a horse.
And
why
by
not?
the way, Classic Empire and looking at Lee, they've got experience racing on wet tracks already this year. So I guess if you're smart with your money, that's what you're going with.
I had this image when he talked about Classic Empire had, kind of mental problems.
Yeah.
I just imagine it's one morning, the trainer comes in, he's like, oh man, Classic Empire's depressed again.
Like, you know what? I do not want to go run today.
Yeah,
Get that stinking saddle off my back.
Classic Empire's got headphones on, listening to emo music. Just really
chilling.
somber. And the trainer's like, oh no.
It's like, dude, you were supposed to be up an hour ago. Just leave me alone.
He offers him a sugar cube. He's like, no go.
Nope, don't want
go.
it.
I'm depressed.
Don't want it. I don't want anything to do with you today. All right, that's good stuff. If you want to weigh in, 359-2255. I know you guys love listening to Chris Block. We'll have him on as we go along in the search for another Triple Crown. I don't think there's going to be one this year. It's just not a very strong field of horses for it all, and I just don't see one dominant enough to win all three.
I'd have to go back and look at 2015 and see what American Pharoah was entering.
He was dominant.
Okay, and he was all three races.
Yeah, unbelievable. So I just don't see that as a horse coming through, but what do I know? I don't know much about horses.
American Pharoah, by the way, was 5-2.
Okay,
which is better than 3-1 odds.
Yes.
So that tells you how good he was. As Chase Headley sucks at third base.
Here we go. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take a break.
They need to get the old man off the hot corner.
Everything is
and
changing.
Bring up the kid.
Everything is changing in this Cubs-Yankees game.
My bad. Yeah, it is your bad.
It is. We'll update you on the Cubs and the Yankees when we return. It is the Tay and J Show.
Hi, it's Corey with Max Twin City Recycling. We pride ourselves on giving the area an outlet to recycle and get paid for their unwanted metals. We're taking our community focus a step further with our Recycling for a Cause program. Each month, Max Twin City will choose a different local charity to feature in an effort to raise money for those causes. Visit maxrecycling.com for a complete list of program details.
Renew, energize, and donate. Join Keller Williams Realty of Champaign, the real estate center of Illinois, for their annual Red Day, Thursday, May 11th, the company's annual day of service dedicated to renewing, energizing, and donating to their local communities. As part of the Red Day effort, Keller Williams Associates will spend the day with See You at Home, building new sheds, painting, light remodeling, and landscaping at multiple locations offered by See You at Home. For more information about Red Day, visit kwchampagneredday.com. That's kwchampagneredday.com. Go to kwchampagneredday.com.
Game Day Spirit, the official fan store of the Fighting Illini, presents the new Illini shirt jerseys. Available in youth and adult sizes, these anticipated Illini shirt jerseys will be released for the first time as a limited edition product at the Illini baseball game on Friday, May 5th. Buy yours in youth and adult sizes for just $15 each as a special price for only May 5th. The shirt jersey is an exact replica of the jerseys the team will be wearing during the game. So come out May 5th and pick up the new Illini shirt jerseys from Game Day Spirit Fan Store.
An ESPN Radio Mike and Mike Extra Point.
So this series with Baltimore and Boston, which all the Orioles basically united, said we can't wait to get the hell out of Boston. This thing can't be over soon enough. Machado, who's been at the center of all of it and with whom it all began, hits a monster home run last night and then basically walks around the bases. Now, I am not one of these old school guys. I don't mind bat flips. But if you just want this thing to be over with and go away, just put your head down and run around the bases. Now, it's still going. Right now that you have just basically taken a leisurely stroll around the bases, you have invited this thing to continue.
Well, it basically comes down to who's going to take the high road first, and nobody has.
Do you agree with me?
The adult in me says you are correct. The player/kid in me says, man, stick it to him.
Hear more from Mike and Mike Monday morning on ESPN Radio.
I'm KFC's Extra Crispy Colonel, and you're the extra busy regular person who has to make dinner for a family of 4. But you can shirk that responsibility because my Extra Crispy $20 fill-up from KFC contains 8 pieces of freshly double-breaded extra crispy chicken, 4 biscuits, 2 orders of mashed potatoes, and a side of coleslaw for just $20. That'll feed them. KFC, it's extra crispy good.
Pricing and participation may vary. Tax and substitutions extra.
Guys, get to JCPenney's Love Mom sale going on now and treat her to some sparkle and shine this Mother's Day. Get up to 70% off fine jewelry after an extra 20% off with your JCPenney credit card and coupon. Or get $10 off when you spend $25 or more with your coupon on select items throughout the store and at jcp.com. Mom deserves the best. So hurry. The Love Mom sale ends soon. That's getting your pennies worth. JCPenney. Coupon valid 5/4 to 5/9. Credit offer subject to credit approval. Some exclusions apply. See store or jcp.com for details.
Going on 5 years, Rock's Place in St. Joseph has become the neighborhood sports bar and grill for a lot of folks in the area. Rock's Place is known for their delicious burgers, and they also have great daily food and drink specials. Plus, Rock's has plenty of TVs, so you can keep tabs on the Cubs and Cardinals all summer long. And while you're there, press your luck on one of Melody Music's video gaming machines. For delicious food, cold drinks, and good company, make it Rock's Place, 101 North Main Street in St. Joseph. Find them on Facebook, ROCHS in St. Joseph.
Hi, it's Belinda from Fancy Thrift and Resale Emporium in Villa Grove. And as an entrepreneur, one of my passions is helping other small businesses to succeed. That's why I'm inviting you to our Spring Fanciful Philo Fun Festival and Small Business event on Saturday, May 6th from 1 to 8 p.m. at the Frank Center in Philo. A fun family event where businesses, entertainers, and vendors will showcase what they offer, from chair massages to delectable treats and mini workouts and more. This is a great way to get more information about locally owned businesses, as over 20 small businesses and vendors will be on hand. So mark your calendar now for our Spring Fanciful Philo Fun Festival and Small Business event on Saturday, May 6th from 1 to 8 p.m. at the Frank Center in Philo. Get more details on Facebook. Just search Fancy Thrift and click on events. Again, go to Facebook and search Fancy Thrift.
Napa know-how.
That's not heavy metal music or the sound of a stray cat fight. It's your car's not-so-subtle way of saying, head to Napa for new brake pads and rotors and get up to a $50 rebate by mail. So don't confuse for anything other than new brakes and $50 back by mail. That's Napa Know-How.
Napa know-how.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores. Offer expires 5/31/17.
It's time for your Out and About with Visit Champaign County. As always, Terry joining me. Terry, what's happening this weekend?
Tonight, Monticello hosts their Whites of Spring. You can head to downtown Monticello where you can sample refreshing white wines and other spring refreshments from participating shops and restaurants on the square.
All right. Speaking of things on the square, Market in the Square is back this weekend.
That's right. It's officially market season. Urbana's Market at the Square opens up tomorrow for their season. You can pick up some fresh ingredients, starter plans, something to eat from a food truck, and so much more. So head out there tomorrow morning.
And for culture and entertainment, you have the perfect plan, right, Terry?
That's right. The CU Ballet presents Cinderella this weekend at the Virginia Theater. With 3 shows running from tonight through tomorrow, you have several chances to catch this whimsical fairy tale with stunning costumes and some very talented dancers.
All right, another busy weekend in the Twin Cities. For more details on these 3 events or anything else happening this weekend, Terry, what website do our listeners go to?
Visit champaigncounty.org.
The Home Depot has a new idea. Free carpet installation that means free carpet installation. Clearing out furniture? Free. Ripping out old carpet? No charge. Hauling it away? On the house. No hidden fees, just free installation on carpet $699 or more. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing. Valid on carpet priced $1 or more per square foot. Unique specialty items and requirements may be priced separately. Not valid in all markets. See HomeDepot.com for details. Offer ends June 7th.
Proverbs 31, 10 through 12 states, a wife of noble character who can find. She is worth far more than rubies. Her husband has full confidence in her and lacks nothing of value. She brings him good, not harm, all the days of her life. Honor your wife and your mother, not only on Mother's Day, but every day. This message brought to you by the Blossom Basket Florist.
The Blossom Basket Florist. The florist you pick.
You want what's best for your family, and what's better than a home equity loan or line of credit with no closing costs? Apply for a home equity loan or line at First Financial Bank before June 3rd, and you'll pay no closing costs. Remodel the house, get a pool for the kids, buy a new car, take a vacation. Whatever your family needs, your home's equity can make it happen, and First Financial makes it affordable. What could be better than that? Offer subject to credit approval. Property insurance required. Valid on applications before June 3rd. Other restrictions may apply. See first-online.com/equity for details. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Hello, I'm Austin Berkland. This is your 430 Sports Center update.
I've got good news for you, because you're going to say the Yankees score here in a minute. You're going to win the division by like 20 games, so today really doesn't matter. It took me a few years as a Cardinals fan to get over a loss, and then I started thinking, well, hold on, the Cardinals are going to win the division by 10 games, so really today doesn't matter.
But, I mean, it does in home field advantage for throughout the playoffs.
Well, that's true. Plus, Carp's a Yankees fan, and now he's going to get that over.
No, I felt bad because. Wait, we're getting in the.
Don't ever feel
let's
bad.
Come after the update. Let's talk.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to start over so Austin can have his. But don't ever feel bad talking to a Cubs fan.
Now hold on.
I'm kidding. Austin is one of those that yes should feel bad. All right, buddy.
Hello, I'm Austin Berkland with your 430 Sports Center update, brought to you by Prairie View Landscaping. Email mypvdiscount@gmail.com for a free quote. That's mypvdiscount@gmail.com. Atlanta women's gymnastics will have to find a new coach. Kim Landris is leaving and headed to be the coach for NC State Wolfpack. Landris coached 12 women from the Illini to All-American honors. Penn State made an idiotic move today by naming Jay Paterno to their board of trustees today. The Blues start their comeback tour tonight at 7 p.m. from the Scottrade Center. If the Blues want to win, they will have to stop Ryan Ellis from the Predators, who is tied for 9th in most goals in these playoffs with 4. Check out the game on NBC Sports Network. The Kentucky Derby is this weekend, and the favorite for the fastest 2 minutes in sports is currently the horse named Always Dreaming. The big race's post time is 5:34 p.m. The Kentucky Derby is broadcast on NBC. The St. Louis Cardinals fell to the Milwaukee Brewers 5-4 last night from Busch. Fowler and Piscotty both left the games due to injury. Fowler is awaiting MRI results, and Piscotty is headed to the DL, with Tommy Pham being called up from Memphis. They start the weekend series with the Braves tonight from Sun Life Park in Atlanta. Game time is at 6:35. It's Lance Lynn versus Fultonowitz. I think that's how you say the name. The 35-15 Illini softball team start a 3-game series tonight with Ohio State. If the Illini win the series, they will most likely cement their squad to be the 3rd seed in the Big Ten tournament. If they lose, they could fall to the 5th seed. And finally, the Chicago Cubs played Carp's New York Yankees.
Yeah!
And the Yankees won 5-4 off a Chase Headley 3-run homer with the last strike in the top of the 9th.
It was 3-2, I think, wasn't it?
Oh.
It was 3-2 was Gardner. It was Headley that had the error in the 9th inning.
Okay, Brett Gardner, yeah.
Headley's the one that Carp was yelling at.
That, my friends, is the update.
All right, Austin, stick with that mic. We're going to talk to you here in a second. It is the Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Lonte, Mike Carpenter, Austin Berkland is here. Daniel King here as well. We don't let Daniel get on the air, though. Like he's just sitting there staring at me. I forgot to do one read. I've got to do one piece of business before we roll into some Cubs-Yankees talk. I want to tell you about Busey, and they're pleased to present the results of the 65th Champaign County Economics Seminar. It's an annual event hosted by Busey. This year's theme was Shaping the Future, reflecting on the life-changing innovation from the University of Illinois as we celebrate its sesquicentennial. They outline the state of the local economy and outlook for 2017. In education, the U of I, the #1 employer in Champaign County. Payroll could stall if lawmakers don't resolve state budget issues. It's expected to decrease by $14 million in 2017. The U of I employs more than 8,000 people. It's the second largest employer in Champaign County. And home and condo sales are up from 11% from 2015. It's the best home sales in a decade. Busey kind of got you up to speed on all of this in their 65th Champaign County Economic Seminar. Agriculture even outdueled everything at $382 million. Busey, they keep you informed. Visit them at BuseyBank.com.
It is the Tay and J Show. Mike Carpenter in for Jeremy Warner, who's celebrating his brother's bachelor party.
Busey.com. Not Busey Bank. That was my fault.
Busey.com. With Lante.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, at about 3:39 p.m. said the word kapoots.
I did say that. Where did that come from?
Now, there's the word cahoots.
Yeah.
And there is the word kaput. Like, oh, it just went kaput.
So that's what I meant to say is kaput.
Yeah, and I think kaput is like the, what do they call that? Onomatopoeia? Mm-hmm. So like if buzz.
Got it.
A word that is also the sound that comes with it.
Oh.
Right?
Like a
or
kaput.
boom, kaboom.
Okay.
Kaput, right?
I put them together and just said kaput.
Kapoots.
I think I've heard, like in my family, we say that word.
Kapoots.
I wonder if people, like if your like certain families say certain words.
Well, I know in my family we say double words a lot. So if it was like for emphasis, so if it was the Brett Gardner homer, it was a homer, like the homer to win the game.
So you guys do. Okay. So if your mom or dad say it was a homer, you're going to be like, ooh, so it was a big one.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
You know what that reminds me of? Is in Goodfellas, they introduce all the characters in the mob.
Yeah.
And it's like, and that's Johnny 2 times. He's like, I'm going to go grab the paper. And he just says everything 2 times.
He says it all twice.
Everything says twice.
I think that's kind of cool.
Johnny 2 times.
Johnny 2 times.
But, it's funny, though, because I was actually thinking on my way back to the station this afternoon, and it was maybe the third inning of this Cubs-Yankees game, and I had this thought, and there's people that will probably want to smack me across the face through their radio when I say this.
Okay.
It's nice to have meaningful Yankees baseball.
Yes.
And people want to reach through the radio
I'm trying
and
to smack
strangle
Carp
me right now.
I'm trying to smack you now.
Because my entire life has been that.
Unbelievable.
It's been a few years, though.
It has been.
And but this is a weird situation, though, because you enter this weekend, an unseasonably cold weekend at Wrigley. I thought after Bryant had the home run in the first inning that this is going to be one of those 4.5-hour games where they were just, pitching it out
9 to 8
to right field. And really, the only damage in this game came from 3 home runs. Mm-hmm. 2 solo shots from the Cubs, Bryant and Schwarber, of course.
All the right field.
All the right field. Same with Gardner, though, and there was a 3-run homer on the last strike.
He went down and got it. He went down and got it from Pedro Strop. I'll ask you, Austin. Pedro Strop has been good.
Yeah.
He's been good. And if you're wondering, he's the dude that can't put his hat on straight. Pedro Strop has been good, but are you a little iffy with throwing him 2 innings? Or is this bullpen set up? Like, for instance, if that was O or Rosenthal, I wouldn't have a problem with it.
Our bullpen is set up where we have multiple 7th and 8th inning guys. So you have Uehara, just don't pitch him 2 days in a row.
Right.
You have Rondon, who just completely dropped the ball today. He's been fine in a couple appearances earlier this season.
Oh, so did they bring in Rondon for the 9th?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's my fault. My fault. I thought that was Strop in the 8th and 9th. So disregard my.
I blame this loss on Joe Madden from Tuesday's game. The Cubs won against the Phillies 8-3 on Tuesday, and he still pitched Wade Davis in a non-meaningful situation at all. So he could have pitched. This would have been his 3rd day in a row to pitch if in this 9th inning.
Let me ask you this, because I know these problems are new to you as a Cubs fan. That was a shot. That was a total shot.
Yeah.
Had Wade Davis gone a few days without pitching? Because I know a lot of times a manager. I'm kidding, by the way, about that. I know a lot of times a manager might say, "All right, I got to get my closer some work," even though maybe, like for instance, the Cardinals sometimes early on this season when they were getting beat every game, their closer was never in. So once in a while, Matheny would throw O or Rosie out there just to get some warm, just to get some innings.
Yeah, he pitched in that Sunday series against the Pittsburgh Pirates and was fine then. So he did not need to pitch just to keep warm that day. I don't understand that. Joe Madden has some bullpen issues as of late, from last year's World Series to now this present year, and it's costing the Cubs some ball games.
This is a crazy stat. This is from ESPN Stats and Info, their Twitter account at ESPN Stats Info. The Cubs were 152-0 over the last 3 seasons when entering the 9th with a 2+ run lead.
Wow.
They were the only team without a loss in such situations since the start of 2015.
Wow.
Now,
That's not all Chapman.
No, and there are angles. There's another angle to this as well, because this is a crazy loss if you're looking at it from the Cubs' perspective. I would have to look at how many 3+ run comebacks the Yankees have had this year. But it's been a lot. I mean, even on Wednesday night, they were down 4-0 after the top of the first.
That's right. That's when Holiday hit his 300th home run, right?
Yeah, 4-0. Then they were down 6-1.
Wow.
And then they end up winning 8-6. So this is a potent Yankees offense. As I was watching this game, I was really frustrated at the fact that they were making good contact, really good contact, getting guys on base, getting guys in scoring position, and something always happened. Jason Hayward happened twice with great defense. One was a great sliding catch. The other was a throw to the plate where Contreras got just ran over by Castro but got the out. But that's the other story here. The 2 best records and 2 best run differentials by far in the majors are the Nationals and the Yankees.
Interesting.
The Nationals I get.
Yes.
Because that rotation is sick. They have a lineup that is so potent in the middle of it. The Yankees entering this year, it felt like, okay, well, this will be kind of fun to see the young kids and build a foundation. Maybe similar to what the Cubs were 2 years ago when they won the wild card and they beat the Cardinals. Maybe that could be the kind of season the Yankees could have.
Okay.
But, you don't want to jump the gun on May 5th, but at the same time, they continue to have these kinds of wins that, I mean, I know Yankees fans are pumped about it. I'm pumped about it.
That's interesting.
And they've been demolishing the AL East competition, maybe besides the Baltimore Orioles. With the Tampa Bay Rays, they've crushed them multiple times.
2-0 against the Red Sox, killing Toronto. Yeah.
It's interesting. And meanwhile, the Cardinals, they just kind of trudge along. But thankfully, the Cubs aren't running away with this yet. And I have no, thought in my head that the Cardinals will beat the Cubs in the NL Central, though.
But you did say when we were talking with Kevin Wheeler in the 3 o'clock hour that you called the Cardinals boring.
They're just kind of boring.
And they kind of are. And
they don't have a superstar.
And I guess what I would ask you is, like, let's say, and this is similar to the situation the Yankees found themselves in last year.
Right.
Where, yes, they could have still won. They still could have made one of the 2 wild card slots when they traded Chapman, Miller. Maybe. They could have.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But then they said, okay, well, we have pieces that are of value to other teams. Why not,
I would be fine with
something like that.
I would be fine. And I'll say it this way. Like, guys like Grichuk, who the Cardinals continue to wait for, and they think that he's got unbelievable talent, and I don't think there's any doubt. Mike Claiborne said that. Mike Matheny, a lot of these guys, John Mozeliak, they think that Randall Grichuk is loaded with talent. It's just a matter of when. When is it going to happen? When is this guy going to have consistency? Colton Wong, I'm a second baseman guy. I wanted to see a cool second baseman in St. Louis again. Colton now is absolutely tearing it up. He's playing really well this year. But I'll be honest, a guy like a Piscotty, who, he just signed such a friendly deal that I don't think I'd want to get rid of him. But if you wanted to make room for like a Harrison Bader in the outfield, which right now you're blocked with Dexter Fowler, but if Harrison Bader can play center, surely he can play left field, right? If you wanted to make a move for a Grichuk or a Wong, obviously Matt Adams, but if you wanted to make a move for one of those guys and the Cardinals dealt that away, I'd be fine with that. I would be absolutely fine. I have always trusted John Mozeliak. And I know the Cubs, obviously, you're going to trust Theo Epstein with what he's done, and you're going to trust Brian Cashman for what he's done in New York. But I trust John Mozeliak to make the right calls. So I know that the Cardinals, I know that last year they didn't make the playoffs. This year they're kind of boring and they're meddling, and it's just kind of frustrating. But again, as I've told Jeremy, they just came off of 10 or 12 years of unbelievable baseball, and they never drafted high. They were lucky because they had some supplemental picks that turned out to be Michael Wacha and some of these guys. But I am fine with the Cubs or the Cardinals all of a sudden having a couple of years where they're not very good, and now you have to figure out what to do. And you're right, and I thought that was an interesting question you asked, Kevin Wheeler, because it is one of those situations where the Cardinals are good enough to be a playoff team. I don't think there's any doubt. They've got the pitching, and if you gave us the kid that got hurt, who all of a sudden I can't think of his name, the young kid, I think the Cardinals would be fine, and their pitching looks fine for the future with that in mind, because Luke Weaver's killing it down in the minors right now. But I would not be opposed.
Is he related to Ray?
No, he's not, unfortunately.
Okay.
But not many are related to Ray.
Yeah.
I mean, Ray's
a unique fellow.
Ray Weaver's just that guy. But no, I would not be afraid to do anything. So either add or subtract. I would be fine with that this year because right now I would love. Jeremy brought up Jose Abreu at first, and I'm like, that'd be interesting. I know some of my friends want Jose Quintana. Get that 4-year deal. I mean, trade the catcher of the future. Trade Harrison Bader, or not Harrison, whatever his name. Yeah, I think it is Harrison. And trade these guys and get Quintana in here.
And let's not forget the 2018 free agent class is absolutely loaded.
Yes.
And who knows? Maybe the Cardinals might make a run at a Manny Machado.
Yeah.
So they need a star that
and they've got money to do it.
Yeah, that can really punish in the middle of the order.
Agree.
After a Matt Carpenter and a Ledmus Diaz and now a Dexter Fowler get on.
And I could see, like Kevin said, about trading a guy like Lance Lynn because he's going to expect a lot of money, and I can see them getting rid of him.
I was looking at the 2018 MLB free agent list. It's kind of funny because this site, SportTrack.com, lists them according to their salary right now.
Okay.
So CC Sabathia, he'll be out there in case anybody wants him. He's got probably another couple of years left for somebody. Jason Worth, remember that name?
Oh, yeah, he's from Chatham, Illinois.
Now, how is he doing for the Nationals
I think he's doing fine. I just think he's overpaid for what he does.
Yeah, and he was a Philly.
Yes.
For their World Series team, I think. And they got the big deal.
He was drafted by the Twins, I think, as a catcher. But, he played for the Phillies for a long time.
Jake Arrieta is a very interesting name to watch, of course.
Yeah.
You got some older guys. Granderson.
Wow.
At 37 next year. Where do you go for him?
But
then it starts getting interesting, of course, with now Bryce Harper's 2019, though, right?
Okay.
Is Manny Machado
I
2018?
think Sport Track labels it differently with the years because it's definitely the 2018 free agent class.
Okay.
Because this is technically the 2017 free agent class.
Got it. Okay.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Okay. That's interesting.
The guy that I look for if the Yankees are to go out and spend a lot of money is not Bryce Harper. Because there is no way you are not going to overpay for him.
No doubt.
Right? I would rather have Manny Machado.
Okay.
And then you have Gleyber Torres at second base because I don't know if Starlin Castro is a long-term option, even though he's got, I think, the most hits in the American League right now.
He's been unbelievable for you guys.
So then your infield includes a Gleyber Torres, Manny Machado, Starlin Castro, Didi Gregorius combination, whatever you do at first base. But, Manny Machado is the name. And after this week and everything that happened in Boston, talk about endearing yourself to Yankees fans.
Right, exactly.
Manny Machado, the Red Sox foil. I know that the Red Sox won the series, but I think that won some points with me. I know it's kind of stupid, but it's like, you know what? I like that edge. And that's the other thing with this particular Yankees team is that they have an edge to them.
Sure.
They needed it.
Sure.
And it's been way too many years of just quiet corporate blandness.
I agree.
And the Yankees had that. They were just not very compelling for about five years.
And I mean, hypothetically, if the Yankees miss out on a Manny Machado after they signed Bryce Harper, they very well could get Josh Donaldson as well. Taking one from another AL.
That'd be a guy.
And there's a lot of precedent for that. I mean, there was Red Sox that become Yankees, Yankees that become Red Sox, and a lot of Baltimore Orioles and Blue Jays that become Yankees. So that's
some of the names on this list: Matt Harvey, Grandal, DJ LeMahieu, Jarius Familia, Zach Britton, Bryce Harper, Manny Machado, Clayton Kershaw. The list goes on and on and on with this class.
That'd be awesome.
AJ Pollock, who would be a good outfielder for another team.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Hold some of these because you guys may talk about this next hour as we go along. I got one. Austin, thank you. Well, you're going to chat next hour with Carp. I'm going to go watch tennis. Bill from Troy said, Lon, the Red Sox and Dodgers have been picking the 20s in the draft for a dozen years. They have stars and much better farm systems. Okay, I agree. Listen, the Cardinals have had an unbelievable farm system for the last decade.
Yeah.
It's only now that a lot of those kids came up and played with the Cardinals. And if you also want to look at it that way, I know the Cardinals are considered a mid-market team, but they have a high payroll. They don't have the Red Sox and the Dodgers payroll.
No.
Let's be honest.
I mean, the Dodgers, the money they're getting from their
the
TV
Dodgers
deal.
are over $300 million payroll.
Yeah. And that's only going to increase because they'll
crazy.
Probably re-sign Kershaw.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It just makes sense. That's his home. At least that's the best fit, I would think, for him. So their payroll will only continue to grow. And same with the Yankees and the other big market teams. And you look at Major League Baseball as a whole, this is an exciting time for the league.
It is.
Because you have a lot of young stars. And not only are they young, but they're actually compelling characters.
No doubt.
And MLB Network I've been watching that. I go to MLB Tonight probably 3-4 nights a week.
You love it, don't you?
It's terrific.
It's great.
They have found not a niche. That's too small of a word for as big of a sport as it is. But
I know Jeremy loves it.
For a stretch where we worried about it going back to kind of the dead ball era.
Exactly.
Pitching
exactly.
Now we're seeing home runs and we're seeing strikeouts. We're seeing high action.
I want to do something real quick. You have a country song you wrote. I have a country song that I wrote, Losing My Past, and we're going to make an album. So so I'm starting song number 2 for me. Can I give you the chorus real quick? And I want you to kind of hum along.
Okay.
And then I'm going to get out of here.
Am I guessing the melody here?
Well, it's going to be like this.
Okay.
So it's going to start like this. A random night that turned into something. All right, you got it?
Okay.
So can you roll along with that?
Yeah, but what's the beat? I mean, is the beat like
it's
a random night that turns into something like that?
Not something further down. I think it's up. So it's this. Okay, a random night that turned into something.
Okay, a random night that turned into something.
A random night we didn't think meant nothing.
That
was really flat.
Nothing.
That random night, how it led to so much more.
Okay.
Am I stealing a song out there?
No.
Then it ends like this. That special night, now that we look back, that special night that put us right on track.
Okay, there you go.
That special night that started memories galore. That's the chorus of the second song. Now I need a song. Now I got to write it.
So what are the first 2 lines of that chorus?
A random night that turned into something. A random night we didn't think meant nothing. That random night, how it led to so much more.
Okay, so the third line and the third line was Special Night. So flip it around. What are the first 2 lines again? One more time.
Random night that turned into something. A random night we didn't think meant nothing.
Okay, stop there. And then and all those memories on that special night. When worlds collide. Or something like that.
All right, well, we're going to work on that.
All right, there you go.
All right, we have the start of it. This is how Lennon and McCartney and these guys got together.
This is how all the classics were written.
Okay, they just didn't do it on a radio show.
No.
Right? I mean, that's the cool thing with us. All right, listen, Carp's going to take over. Austin's going to help. Daniel's here as well. I wouldn't put him on, but if you want to, he's here. I'm kidding, Daniel. I'm totally kidding. I'm going to go watch tennis. I will talk to everybody next week. It is the Tay and J Show. I like that song, Carp. Yeah.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
President Trump's administration remains open.
Tennessee Republican State Senator Mark Green has withdrawn his nomination for Army Secretary after criticism over remarks made about Muslims, gay, lesbian, and transgender Americans. In a statement, Green cites false and misleading attacks about his public service and Christian beliefs for the decision. Video emerged of a speech Green made to a Tea Party group in September in which he warned against an indoctrination of Islam and described being transgender as a disease. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says Green's withdrawal is good news.
Fox's Jared Halpern. Green is the second nominee this year to step away from the Army Secretary post. A ceremony at the State Department to honor foreign service workers who died serving our nation.
Each of the 248 fallen heroes and heroines whose names are engraved on the memorial plaque represents a unique individual life, and I think we can never lose sight of that.
Secretary of State Rex Tillerson at the Foreign Affairs Day Memorial Plaque Ceremony in Washington. Yeager Airport in Charleston, West Virginia will remain closed at least until tomorrow after a cargo plane crashed, killing the pilot and co-pilot. The NTSB is investigating that plane was carrying UPS packages. The job market was hot last month.
The 211,000 jobs created in April was a much stronger showing than expected, and that was one reason the unemployment rate fell to 4.4%, its lowest level since May 2007.
Fox Business Network's Adam Shapiro. The market with a late flurry following that strong jobs report. The Dow climbing 55 points, S&P gaining 9 points, NASDAQ up 25 points, both closing at record highs. You're listening to Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
Ready for a new tractor? At LS Tractor, we'll be the first to tell you to shop and compare. That's right, shop our competition. We're that confident that the LS Tractor combination of more standard features, better performance, competitive price, and proven commitment to customer satisfaction deliver value that's unequaled by another tractor. period. Want more tractor for your money? Look around. You'll see there's one that gives it to you. LS Tractor. Excel in your field. Learn more at lstractorusa.com.
ADT presents What to Consider When Considering Home Security. An ADT sign is more than a sign. It's a line in the sand. On one side, your family. On the other, an uncertain world.
For over 140 years, more people have chosen ADT to help prevent crime than anyone else. Get ADT starting at just $28.99 a month.
Tested, trusted, proven ADT.
With 36-month contract for licensing and terms and conditions, visit ADT.com.
Involved in a deadly car accident outside Boston, shouldn't have been behind the wheel.
The president of Linway Auto Auction Friday saying he has learned from police the employee who killed 3 people with an out-of-control Jeep Cherokee was driving with a suspended license. The employer saying the man, who was in his mid-70s and was not injured, had a valid Massachusetts driver's license when he took the job 7 years ago. Killed Wednesday was a couple from Rhode Island in their late 40s and a mother of 3 who had taken the job to raise money to pay for her daughter's 15th birthday celebration. Locals say Linway Auction is known to be a good place to pick up a day or two of work if you're retired. The car dealer says it will put barriers in place to prevent future accidents. Bill Marcus, Fox News.
8 members of Penn State's Beta Theta Pi fraternity are charged with involuntary manslaughter in the death of pledge Timothy Piazza. Authorities say he died after falling several times at the frat house and was found with toxic levels of alcohol in his body.
It's heartbreaking all around. There's no winners. We don't win by even charging these young men, because the only win is for him to be alive.
Center County DA Stacey Parks Miller. Nobody helped the severely injured 19-year-old pledge, and police say he suffered for hours.
In honor of our son, and are committed to doing everything that we can to assure that no other parents will have to go through the pain and grief we are currently experiencing.
Jim Piazza, the victim's father, 10 other frat members also facing charges. Puerto Rico is closing nearly 200 schools as it struggles with an economic crisis that's causing many people to leave for the U.S. mainland. The Education Department says 27,000 students will be relocated to other schools next year. Enrollment has dropped 42% in the past 3 decades. I'm Kathleen Maloney, Fox News Radio.
Here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast from the National Weather Service, brought to you by Chief Bauer. Trust the heating and cooling experts at Chief Bauer Service Experts to help keep you comfortable all year long. Call 866-EXPERTS or visit cheapbauer.com. Thank you.
I'm not lying.
No, that was pretty good. That was a good baritone. Tonight getting down to 43. Tomorrow 59 and partly sunny. And guess what? A little chance of rain in the morning. Not much. With a low of 40 overnight. And then Sunday 64 and sunny. That's more like it, with a low of 42. 68 and sunny on Monday. Gradually, we're getting there. It is 62 and sunny. ESPN Radio. It is the Tay and J Show. Mike Carpenter in for Tay and Jeremy Warner. Going all the way up until 5:40. Cardinals, Braves. Pregame starts at 5:40 with first pitch at 6:35. The boring St. Louis Cardinals, as Tay dubbed them. He is over to watch Lucas play some tennis on this windy but beautiful afternoon, and Austin Berkman is in studio with me.
That's where I disagree with Lon. I think the Cardinals are an extremely exciting team, but all for the wrong reasons.
I will say they keep things interesting, and anytime I'm on Twitter during one of their games, you see a cavalcade of tweets after the Cardinals do something stupid. And it is, I know Jeremy got a lot of crap for a tweet where he said, this is not really the Cardinal way. And he didn't mean it in some sort of snarky way. That's not his style. But it got interpreted as such. But it is kind of true. Like, if there was one thing you could count on the Cardinals for a good 15-year stretch, was I always thought the personalities weren't really there on that team. But it was so aggravating how this rather bland team was the most fundamentally sound. They played mistake-free baseball, and they always got the timely hits and the clutch pitching and all of that, and they just aren't getting that right now.
Going from Brandon Moss to John Jay and those prior to them. Ryan Theriot was great for the Cardinals.
Yes.
It's those role players. Those role players were always able to step up. Jeremy Hazelbaker last year early on in the beginning of the season, and it's just it was so boring because you didn't know any of those names. And now it's exciting because those same type of players are making these mistakes that you wouldn't expect from a Cardinals team.
You know what I look at the Cardinals like? Similar to Wisconsin basketball. And this crazy run of success kind of mirrors itself, right? I mean, both around 2000, each of those teams really started getting good. In the last 15, 16 years, they've been, for the most part, probably the winningest team in their league or conference, however you want to look at it. But I always thought that Wisconsin basketball, like, give it time. Eventually, you can only put in nameless substitutes and have them carry the load for so long. And that's not to say the Cardinals are a nameless team. They actually have quite a few really well-established Major League Baseball players that are really good. Right now, it is kind of a perfect storm of bad, and maybe that record right around 500, in a way, is kind of reason for optimism. And they've been playing this bad, and they're only a game under 500.
Yeah, and I mean, a few years back, you expected guys like Matt Adams to become those stars, but and Colton Wong, but they just haven't. They haven't been that Albert Pujols type presence in a locker room or that Matt Holliday presence in that locker room. But I think they will be okay. This wild card is extremely weak, as Kevin Wheeler said, and I'm not expecting anything different from the Cardinals. They'll still find a way to squeeze enough wins out that they'll still be competitive toward the end of the season.
Yeah, they'll hang around. I mean, you look at the West, and right now it's the Rockies and the Diamondbacks that are leading that division. You have to think that one or both are going to fall back down to earth. In the East, you have the Nationals. The Mets are a disaster.
The Mets have lost Travis d'Arnaud to the DL now, so they have Syndergaard out, Matz is out, d'Arnaud out, Cespedes has been shaky a little bit with his injuries.
Are the Pirates anything
to
worry about?
They are not. They're not anything to worry about.
I saw on Baseball Reference, Nova, of all people, Ivan Nova, is their best player, at least according to WAR. And I know as a Yankees fan, he's not going to keep that up. Let's talk about the Cubs. Because, the frustration for me throughout this game was thinking like the Yankees had opportunity after opportunity. The Cubs had 2 solo shots from Bryant and Schwarber. No surprise there. I guess a little bit for Bryant because he went opposite field. But with the Cubs in general, there is a different tenor to this season. Last year was a 7-month parade for the most part. I mean, from the outset, you could tell that this was going to be a lot of fun. Even when Schwarber went down, that team was still killing it, both hitting, and they had the best starting staff in baseball, I think, at least numbers-wise. So, as you sit here on May 5th, are there legitimate concerns long-term?
It feels a lot like the Golden State Warriors of this year.
Okay.
In the fact that you aren't going to get that record-setting win amount or that fantastic play, that flashy play, because the expectations are so high already to start the season off. But if you go back into this year it feels like there's some defense, some BABIP issues that might cost the Cubs a few wins that they've gotten, some defensive plays last year in. Javi Baez, I remember the first series of this season with the Cardinals, I'm like, oh, he makes that play last year. He makes that play in the World Baseball Classic.
Sure.
But now he's not. And I'm not saying that Javi's a bad defensive player. I'm saying that you can't expect teams to make those flashy plays all the time.
And it's crazy to think, too, that you go into any season and you kind of have expectations for each individual. And collectively, that shapes what your expectations are for that team. So, case in point, you're a Cubs fan. You enter this year. You hope for whatever from Jason Hayward. You've gotten a lot more from that. So you would think, oh, man, well, if you would have told me Jason Hayward's doing this, then I'm thinking that, the Cubs are probably good for another couple of wins. But for every guy that exceeds their expectations, usually there's another 2 or 3 that are not meeting them. And the big thing so far, I thought the Yankees were going to break the game open the first inning today.
Yeah.
And Hendricks got out of it.
Yeah.
But the first inning thing, which maybe we'll forget about when it's June or July, and it'll just be a distant memory, a cute distant memory, no big deal, we're getting out of the first inning just fine. That is getting dangerously close to a trend. And whether it be the first inning or the second or the third, if you're in that first third of the game and you're already finding yourself behind the other team, whatever your lineup may be, that's just a precarious spot to put yourself in.
Yeah.
Day in, day out.
Whenever you put like ERA in the first inning, the Cubs are dead last still, even though they've allowed 2 first runs of 0 ball in back-to-back games.
Yeah.
But if you take out the first inning and go 7 through the 2nd through the 8th inning, they climb up to like 7th or 8th ERA. That first inning is a problem, and I don't know what the solution is to fix it, because you can't just say, hey, pitchers, pitch better.
Right.
I don't know if it's a strategy thing with the catchers or something, it's just mildly frustrating, but I don't expect it to be a trend because baseball just isn't shaped that way. That a first inning can be like that every single time.
It's an outlier, and it's all happening in one concentrated period of time. So every time a game starts, you're just kind of, fingers crossed, get through those first 3 outs, and you feel good. I remember in 2004, Kevin Brown, like he was 40 years old by that point, was on the Yankees starting staff. And every first inning, you were behind 3-0. It felt like that. And he had one start in June where he got out of the first inning, and you could hear the Bronx cheers emanating from the stadium.
Literal Bronx
cheers, because he actually got out without any runs scored against him in the first inning. And, of course, it continued after that. I mean, he was an old, aging veteran starter at that point. But with this Cubs starting staff, I still feel good about Arrieta.
Yeah.
I still feel good about Lester. He's remarkably consistent, and I think he's going to age well as a pitcher too, because he does have some good stuff, but at the same time, he is gracefully, I think, transitioning into that more find your spot kind of pitcher. Hendricks is the interesting one, because we had discussions on the Tay and J Show last year about, would you take Arrieta long-term, let's say the next 5-6 years, or Kyle Hendricks? And I said Hendricks based on the fact that he is a pitcher that does not rely on velocity, and Arrieta does. And that velocity doesn't stay with you forever. Is Kyle Hendricks the most worrisome starter for you going forward? Other than Brett.
Yeah.
Other than
Brett Anderson's probably going to be DFA'd sooner or later. But Kyle Hendricks right now, his velocity gap, I've preached on it and preached on it and preached on it. It is not wide enough for him to be successful. That fastball, I know he doesn't rely on velocity for his fastball, but it has to be above what he's at right now. And he was great today. He was finding location, but that velocity gap was still not there. There's a point of no return when you get down to like a 91 mile per hour fastball or an 89 mile per hour fastball, that pitch becomes no longer effective, no matter where the location is at. So if he is able to get that velocity gap up, get that fastball up to 92, 93, and then that slider and curveball and changeup in the 80s range, he'll be just fine. But right now, I'm just not seeing it. And there was Chris Bosio was on 670 The Score and said, "Yeah, we're just taking the pitchers slowly. We're going to get their velocity up." I'm like, but you can't do that with Kyle Hendricks. You can do that with Arrieta. You can do that with Lester, because they're not predicated on that location as much, because they can still hit those 92, 93 benchmarks that a starting pitcher has to have.
This feels like a slow play for the Cubs, and that's okay. I mean, it's sort of like how you'll watch LeBron James in Game 12 of the season, and depending on the night, he'll get it done. But at the same time, it's not always going to be the kind of performance that makes you think, oh, man, the Cavs are so dominant. And look at them now. Look at what the Cavs are doing early on these NBA playoffs, now that they actually turned on that on switch. Baseball, you can't turn that on switch on overnight. But I think as you get in the middle of the summer and that pennant race starts heating up, and the Cubs, if they find themselves in a position where they're only 3 or 4 games up in that division in mid-June, they're going to look at each other and say, enough. So they'll be fine in that regard. They're also going to be fine long-term because they have so many young players. Looking at that lineup on Baseball Reference and seeing the 25s and the 24s, and you think Jason Hayward's the old guy, and he's, 27?
Yeah.
27.
I'm not here to blame the weather at all for the Cubs' slow start, but Wrigley has not been friendly at all for right now.
I mean, it was 48 degrees today.
48 degrees, 54 degrees, 50 degrees, 46 degrees.
Yeah.
It's just been that kind of temperature. When the bats heat up and the temperature heats up, then I think the Cubs team will be okay, and then Kyle Hendricks' flaws aren't going to be exaggerated to the point that they maybe are by even me at this point.
From your perspective, because I'm clearly clouded by my own bias here, are the Yankees legit? Can we say that on May 5th with 5 months to go in the season?
Yeah, I did this discussion at the beginning of the season, and I thought the Blue Jays were going to steal the wild card. Like, it was going to be Orioles, Blue Jays, and Red Sox all making the postseason.
You had Orioles, too.
Yeah.
Okay.
But now, those Yankees are legit. Aaron Judge, he can crush the baseball, and it's not a fluke. It's not him just pull side all the time. These home runs are mammoth shots.
Well, today he had, I think he was still 2 for 4, or 2 for 3 in a base on balls, and he had a line drive up the middle, exit velocity of 111 miles per hour on a line drive. if you're a pitch, I actually, my first thought was, I'm worried for pitchers going forward.
Yeah.
I mean, if one is just hit the exact right way and it's right at their head, hopefully they're quick enough. But he is a remarkable story in that last year he came up in August after Gary Sanchez had been already having a good 2 or 3 weeks. So Judge comes up. Greg Bird, I guess, would have been hurt, but there was another kid that came up as well. And he hit a home run in his first at-bat, I think, at Yankee Stadium. And you're thinking, oh, my God, this is happening.
Mm-hmm.
And then he strikes out basically every other at-bat. I mean, it was a crazy strikeout rate last year, at least 1 every 3. And in spring training, there was no guarantee he was going to be a starter, let alone that 2 months later he would be in the MVP conversation. I know it's only 1 month in.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, his pitch selection is great. He's not striking out that much. He's getting walks. His on-base is really high. And he seems to be adapting to pitchers quicker than vice versa.
Yeah, this Rookie of the Year race, I thought it was Andrew Benintendi, lock it in, and then finalize it, give him the award right now. But Aaron Judge is the Rookie of the Year right now. Andrew Benintendi, your on-base is awesome, but let's see a little bit more power. But Aaron Judge and the rest of that Yankees organization has done a phenomenal job getting hitters. They did the same philosophy the Cubs have done, and it's going to pay off for them sooner or later. And I think this year could be like the 2015 of the Chicago Cubs.
Sure. And the thing that's encouraging, too, is kind of quietly today, Michael Pineda goes out, gives you 6 innings of 2-run ball. There were 2 solo shots. He is prone to the long ball, and both of them were to the right field with the help of the wind. But still, that's your worry with Pineda. But he's not walking guys. And that was his big thing, too, was control overall. He's not walking guys. His strikeout rate is as high as it's ever been. His ERA is in the mid-3s, which is a lot better than the 4.9 or whatever he had last year. So whether it be him, a young Severino, who's keeping his walk total down and has a great strikeout rate, too, Tanaka, who after his first start has been phenomenal this entire season. You feel really good about 3 starters. CC, he's aging, but he's still going to give you innings as a 4 or 5. Yeah. And Jordan Montgomery is a young lefty that has been pretty good so far. So, and then the bullpen. You only saw bits of that today, and you did see Chapman, but that bullpen's been great for them as well. So it's an exciting time, and I know people, again, probably want to reach through that radio, and I don't blame them. Smack me in the face for saying, it's meaningful Yankees baseball in May. I can't. But, it has been a weird 4 or 5 year period where you felt good about the manager, Girardi, but you also felt bad for him in that it was always an aging roster, and there were not many young figures that you could look at and say, oh, well, a mix of these 3 guys are going to be the new core 4, the trio that's going to lead us out.
You guys were in baseball purgatory for the longest time.
Yes.
Because you could not get that first overall pick because those veterans were talented enough to keep you in a playoff race but not make the playoffs, besides 2015 when they were the wild card team.
Yeah.
And
the one game Dallas Keuchel shutout or whatever at Yankee Stadium.
What a pitcher he was that year. But if you go back to getting those first picks but they didn't do that. They made trades. They finally made trades. Brian Cashman was able to build a statue at the Play-Doh that he's always wanted to. He wasn't forced to read the directions by the Steinbrenners and say, here's what you must do. He was able to form the roster however he wanted to fill the roster. And now you're seeing the fingerprints all over this roster. And it's a testament to how good Brian Cashman is.
Yeah, full autonomy. And the mix of veteran free agents, so Carlos Beltran a couple years ago was a sneaky good signing. He helped them make that 2015 wildcard game. Matt Holliday, so far, has been a really good sneaky signing this year. And it's weird because I look at the Cubs on Baseball Reference and I see those ages of the position players. It's all 28 or under, with the exception of, I guess, Zobrist.
Yeah.
And
John Jay.
And John Jay, and then Miguel Montero. So 3 guys over 30, basically. And then in the Yankees, you have your 24s, your 25s, and then you have your 37s. And, Brett Gardner, I think, is 31 or 32, maybe even a little bit older. And I don't know if this is ironic or not. I don't really get the concept of irony all the time. But the last time that I was at Wrigley for a Yankees-Cubs game was 2010, and it was a Saturday afternoon, standing room only, and Brett Gardner got the winning run. So as I'm watching it in here, as Lon and I are talking to Chris Block from Chris Block Horse Stables.
How non-paying attention were you during that interview?
But it was a great interview, but the Yankees had 2 men on, and then it was during that Gardner at bat, and it got down that last strike. And, it's funny at that moment, as a fan, you start playing both scenarios in your mind.
Yeah, there's a certain finality. You're like, either if we hit this homer, we're going to win. If we strike out, obviously the game's over.
And you know what my thought was right before he hit the home run? My thought was, okay, he's going to strike out here, but to mess with Austin, I'm going, because you probably had a delay.
I had a 3-second delay on the new NBC Sports app.
Ooh.
Now, like Comcast Sportsnet, you're able to stream on your phone and online.
You see, if it would have been more effective if it was like a 12-second delay.
Oh, yeah.
So if I would have reacted, we joke about like if we miss a shot on the Nerf hoop, yet we act like we made a crazy shot, that the people on the YouTube stream wouldn't be able to tell the difference. So I was thinking, okay, if he strikes out here, like give a little fist pump in the air.
Lance played that game for years with me.
and I guess 3-second delay would make that tough. But that's the thing. You in your mind go with the two different alternative outcomes. And I err on the side of, we made some good contact. If he strikes out, no big deal. In other words, I tend to go the more, probably not going to happen, but that's okay.
We can still win 2 or 3.
Yeah,
like that.
Right.
That was my thought after the home run too. I was like, we can still win 2 or 3 right now.
Yeah.
But still, I was like, But
it's
had that one.
This is the cool thing, though, is that you schedule these interleague series, and the weekend ones tend to be the marquee matchups, as it will be tomorrow night on Fox Sports, and then on Sunday night on
Red
ESPN.
Sox, Cubs, Yankees, Cubs, back-to-back weekends.
Yeah, and then next week, Astros. Well, I guess they aren't interleague anymore, but Astros at Yankees for Sunday night baseball. But yeah, that's the cool thing, is that for a game like this to kick off the 3-game series, if it would have ended as it did, or if it would have ended with Aroldis Chapman blowing a save, no matter what, this is a great start to the weekend for this series. The only problem is tomorrow it is Jordan Montgomery versus Brett Anderson.
Hey, at least we're going to see a home run derby, maybe.
You would think. And maybe the win this time will actually be blowing out to all fields instead of just right.
Watch this game tomorrow be a 0-1 game with both pitchers going 7 2/3.
2 hours and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I saw a 2-hour, 20-minute game at Wrigley Field. It was Matt Morris and John Lieber.
Ooh.
2002. It was the day before the Darryl Kyle, when Joe Girardi had to go out and tell the crowd about that. And we actually, it was one of those Busey bus trips. And we got there early enough, and a friend that went with me was a Cardinals fan, so we go down the Cardinals dugout, and who was the guy signing autographs? Darryl Kyle.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we go to that game. It was a 2-0 Cubs win. John Lieber was fantastic. He had a good few years. And the shortest baseball game I've ever been to, where it was so short that you almost felt like, really? That was it? I mean, I like a good, efficient baseball game, but that was just extreme. So we'll see tomorrow. That honestly makes a lot of sense. Montgomery, Anderson, pitchers duel, 1-0 final, sets up a rubber match on Sunday night against Severino and, is it Lester?
It's got to be Lester because he hasn't pitched in a while.
Okay, all right. I don't like our chances against Lester.
I don't. It's so hard to tell in baseball.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, and that's why I would never bet on a regular season baseball game.
Maybe
postseason when you would know that every tool is at a team's disposal. But even then,
I would bet over-unders in playoff baseball. That's the only baseball betting system I would ever do is over-unders in postseason.
Yeah. Let's do this.
Okay.
Quick break. 5:40, Cardinals pregame coming up here on ESPN 93.5. 6:35 first pitch for Cardinals and Braves. We'll come back with a quick update, wrap things up before we kick it over to the Cardinals broadcast. By the way, this segment of the Tay and J Show brought to you by Honda BMW of Champaign. For a wide selection of new and used vehicles, check out Honda BMW of Champaign at the corner of Neal and Burwash and Savoy, and online at drivechampagne.com. It is the Tay and J Show.
Get new carpet for less during the National Flooring Extravaganza, going on now at Flooring Surfaces in Champaign. Soft and luxurious carpets are on sale with a free upgrade to Stainmaster Plus Deluxe Carpet Cushion. In fact, get a free padding upgrade with every style made from premium Infinity Nylon, Anso Nylon, or Stainmaster Nylon. And Flooring Surfaces can measure, design, and offer professional installation service for any size project. So get your new carpet now at Flooring Surfaces during the National Flooring Extravaganza, 401 East Mercury Drive in Champaign.
Willow Pond Golf Course in Rantoul is the most improved in Central Illinois. They had a great preseason, and all this month they're celebrating you with great customer appreciation rates. Play around Monday through Friday for just $25, and seniors get a low rate of just $20. Golf Saturday and Sunday for just $30, and all packages include a cart. Enjoy their full-service bar and grill, the 19th hole, serving up great food and drinks, plus live video gaming and the full swing simulator. Schedule a tee time, 893-9000 or willowpondgolf.com. IllinoisGolf.com.
It's a familiar place you know. It's a relationship to hold on to. It's a place for families, a part of growing up, and a key to staying healthy. There are warm, friendly faces, people you trust because you know you're in good hands, because you know there's complete passion, professionalism, and heart. If it's your first time or another visit, you get the care you deserve at Illini Smiles Dental Care. Dr. Shu, Dr. Fott, and Dr. Lou and their team are ready to see you now. Illini Smiles Dental Care, 303 West Springfield Avenue in Champaign. Book your visit online today at IlliniSmilesDentalCare.com. That's IlliniSmilesDentalCare.com. Illini Smiles Dental Care. We love to see you smile.
Your four-legged friends need protection too. Pet insurance from Pekin Insurance covers cats and dogs at least 6 weeks of age or older as an enhancement to your homeowner's coverage. Choose between $2,500 or $5,000 worth of coverage for a variety of pet health services. You can even take your pet to the veterinarian of your choice. Learn more at PekinInsurance.com or ask your local agent about how to protect your furry family members. For pet insurance that is beyond the expected, contact Pekin Insurance today.
A catalog of songs that have defined a generation. One of the greatest bands in music history. It's all led up to this. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, the 40th anniversary tour with very special guest Joe Walsh. May 10th, 7:30, State Farm Center in Champaign. Tickets are on sale now at StateFarmCenter.com. Presented by State Farm Center.
Check out the new BMW of Champaign. It's not like the old Twin City. They have new on-site local ownership since 2013, along with a new state-of-the-art facility. With a Customer First Service Award winner for 2015, BMW of Champaign does business your way. Yes, they have tons of cars. Yes, they'll get you what you want. Yes, they discount, deal, and even pick up and deliver. So stop in, ask for Ben, and give BMW of Champaign a look. BMW of Champaign at the corner of Neal and Burwash in Savoy.
Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you have to do is call Matex Heating and Cooling to take advantage of Train's Weather Any Season sale. Weather Any Season sale. Choose between special financing for 6 years or special trade-in allowances on qualifying Train systems. Call 355-9700 or visit us online at mattexservice.com for more information. It's hard to stop a train. Any season, any weather. Matex Heating and Cooling, servicing East Central Illinois.
Subject to credit approval. Call for details.
Hello, I'm Austin Berkland with your 5:30 Sports Center update brought to you by Prairie View Landscaping. Email mypvdiscount@gmail.com for a free quote. That's mypvdiscount@gmail.com. A lot of women's gymnastics will have to find a new head coach. Kim Landris is leaving and headed to be the coach of the NC State Wolfpack. Landris coached 12 women from the Illini to All-American honors. Penn State made an idiotic move today by naming Jay Paterno to their board of trustees today. He is the son of alleged cover-up Joe Paterno. The St. Louis Blues start their comeback tour tonight at 7 p.m. from the Scottrade Center. If the Blues want to win, they will have to stop Ryan Ellis from the Predators, who is tied for ninth in most goals in these playoffs with 4. Check out the game on NBC Sports Network. The Kentucky Derby is this weekend, and the favorite for the fastest 2 minutes in sports is currently a horse named Always Dreaming. The big race post time is 5:34 p.m. The Kentucky Derby is broadcast on NBC. The St. Louis Cardinals fell to the Milwaukee Brewers 5-4 last night from Busch. Fowler and Piscotty both left the game due to injuries. Fowler is awaiting MRI results, and Piscotty is headed to the DL with Tommy Pham being called up from Memphis. They start a weekend series with the Braves tonight at the new Sun Life Park in Atlanta. Game tonight is at 6:35. It's Lance Lynn versus Fultonowitz. The 35-15 Illini softball team start a 3-game series tonight. If the Illini win the series against Ohio State, they will most likely cement their squad to be the 3rd seed in the Big Ten tournament. If they lose, they could fall to the 5th seed. And finally, the Chicago Cubs played the Carps New York Yankees, and the score was 3-2 in favor of the Yankees due to a Brett Gardner home run. And that, my friends, is the Sports Center update.
5 home runs in the last 6 games for Brett Gardner.
He's a real Mighty Mouse.
He really is. And he's been with the Yankees, I want to say, for 8 years now. And he was the only guy, I told you this before the show, he's the only Yankee that was there in 2010. I guess CC Sabathia would have been, but he didn't pitch that day. But he was the only Yankee that's still remaining, I guess, him and CC Sabathia. So a lot of turnover. I mean, I know that's a long time.
Yeah.
8 seasons, but still.
Like the Starlin Castro coming over today for the first game in Wrigley as a New York Yankee. I looked at that video package, and I'm like, wow, he's really the only guy that was the link between Aramis Ramirez, Derek Lee, to Chris Bryant and Anthony Rizzo.
A lot of excitement when he came up with the Cubs.
With all of his hitting that he could do. He was the fastest to blank hits for the Cubs.
Because he has over 2,000 hits, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
He's gonna be in the 3,000 hit club. Which surprises me with how bad he's perceived by some Cubs fans. You know,
it's funny. If you put him in a Yankees uniform and put him around that same Yankees team from 96 to 2009, like Jeter, you wonder. In other words, you just wonder how much does environment shape how we view certain players. So would Castro on a team with much more talent, would he be a perennial all-star?
Yeah.
Would he be someone that he was just that really solid shortstop for whatever the team may be, and then his reputation would be of a,
I mean, if Yadi Molina, he's the guy that I like to do this with, that play this game with. If he was that with a bad team, how would he be perceived? Would he be in the Hall of Fame discussion?
I've wondered the same thing. I mean, Derek Jeter was always really good. If he's in San Diego, is there a Derek Jeter night out there? Maybe. I mean, Tony Gwynn style, there could be. And I will be at Derek Jeter night next Sunday. This is, I think, my last Tay and J show until I get back from New York.
Well, have a great time in New York City, Carl.
Absolutely. And hopefully the Yankees can get one more in Wrigley.
Or maybe not.
Or maybe not, whichever. But Daniel King, Austin Berkman, appreciate it, guys. Lon Tay earlier, Kevin Wheeler, and Chris Block. It's been a good Tay and J show. Now it's time for the weekend. See you on Monday.
See ya.
Guidance, trust, protection, service. It's the mantra of GTPS Insurance. When you work with GTPS, you'll never have to call an 800 number in a different state. You deal with people who live and work in our community and know it's important to your business. GTPS is your local source for business insurance, property, general liability, workers' compensation, and group health insurance, and they'll work with you to formulate the best package for the needs of you and your business. Contact a GTPS insurance agent today at 359-9000 or visit online at gtpsinsurance.com.
Protecting your home and family, you better have a plan. Keep them safe from harm with a home alarm from F.E. Moran. Home invasions are on the rise all across the land, but they'll think twice when they see the sign for F.E. Moran. Don't wait till it's too late, it's time to make a stand. Call 877-FE Moran. F.E. Moran. Alarm.
Hey, this is Brad again with Kramer Siding and Window Company, and for over 60 years, we've been providing worry-free home improvements. If you've thought about either siding, windows, maybe you need to replace that roof, how about a deck, a pergola, awnings? We also have the 4-season sunrooms and screen rooms, or the gutter helmet. If any of those home improvements are in your near future, call us right now at Kramer Siding or stop by our beautiful showroom at 708 North Country Fair Drive.
Here at Stevie J Broadcasting, we wanted to let you know about the Celebration of Life 2-mile walk on an indoor playground track. It's happening on Saturday starting at 10, along with the Youth Dodgeball Tournament. If you'd like to get in on the fun at the First Christian Church in Champaign, 3601 South Staley Road, call 398-6511. Send an email to champaign@hopeforafuture.com and get all the details to register on Saturday, May 6th. HopeForAFuture.com.
Renew, energize, and donate. Join Keller Williams Realty of Champaign, the Real Estate Center of Illinois, for their annual Red Day, Thursday, May 11th, the company's annual day of service dedicated to renewing, energizing, and donating to their local communities. As part of the Red Day effort, Keller Williams Associates will spend the day with See You at Home, building new sheds, painting, light remodeling, and landscaping at multiple locations, offered by See You at Home. For more information about Red Day, visit kwchampagneredday.com. That's kwchampagneredday.com. Go to kwchampagneredday.com. Mark your calendars now for May 11th and 12th for the Farmers City 74. more at the Farmer City Raceway. Gates open each day at noon. May 11th, enjoy pro lates and streets and lights with $3,000 to win. May 12th, it's lates with $20,000 to win and modifieds with $5,000 to win. With almost 100 racers over 2 days. Thursday, general admission $25 for adults. Friday, general admission $35. Kids 12 and under get in for free. Don't miss the Farmer City 74 at the Farmer City Raceway, where we'll sell you the whole seat, but you only need the edge.
Hi, I'm Troy Lands from Lands Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, your Trane comfort specialist. Right now is a great time to buy a new Trane heating and cooling system from Lands. For a limited time only, we're offering 0% interest for 6 years. That's no interest with equal payments and approved credit for 6 years on any qualifying Trane system. Or, here's another way you can save on a new Trane heating and cooling system from Lands. Trade in your old system. For a limited time, you can get a $1,000 trade-in allowance on any qualifying Trane system. So pick your best deal. No interest for 6 years or a $1,000 trade-in allowance and start saving. Call 1-800-AIR-REPAIR or find us online at landsinc.com. Remember, it's hard to stop a train. I'm Troy Lands, and you can count on my company because you can count on me.
See Lands for program details. Call 888-653-0051 for details about credit costs and terms. Regular APR is 28.99 for newly opened accounts. APR may vary, subject to credit approval.
The sounds of spring and the smell of flowers in the air, they all add up to Spring Green, America's neighborhood lawn care team. That lush green lawnscape is a result of a reputation earned through consistent performance. They become your favorite through quality service and professionalism. Spring Green will service and maintain your lawnscape with seeding, aeration, fertilizing, weed reduction, disease, and insect control. Now the ease and trouble-free convenience of Spring Green's professional lawn care's full program is yours at savings of 20% for new customers. It's backed by the guarantee of satisfaction. Over 32 years of satisfied customers reflect their commitment to Champaign-Urbana and the Mattoon-Charleston area. Call Spring Green at 217-359-2111 or online at spring-green.com at 217-359-2111.
This is Chuck Lee with Provident Financial Group. What will you do during the next market correction? At Provident, we believe a sound financial plan is the surest way to avoid panic during market volatility. Contact us today to put a plan in place for you. Securities and advisory services are through Commonwealth Financial Network. Find us online at ProvidentFinancialGroupLLC.com.
Provident, partnerships built on trust.
Member FINRA, SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
Don't miss the 48th annual Kappa Kappa Gamma Flower Sale, with net proceeds this year benefiting Cunningham Children's Home. The sale will take place May 4th through the 6th at the Indian Acres Swim Club, 1 Arrow Road in Champaign. The annual sale includes geraniums and many other types of annuals in a variety of colors, patio gardens, hanging baskets, herbs, potted plants, and foliage. Don't miss this sale May 4th from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m., May 5th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., and May 6th from 9 a.m. to noon. It's the 48th annual Kappa Kappa Gamma Flower Sale, May 4th through the 6th at the Indian Acres Swim Club.
Well, it's back out onto the road for the Cardinals. Welcome into the Ameren pregame show. Alex Ferrario with you in our network studios in St. Louis after the Cardinals have wrapped up a homestand going 4-4, coming off of last night's 5-4 loss to the Milwaukee Brewers. Now the Cardinals set out on a road trip, 3-game series against the Atlanta Braves and 3-game series against the Miami Marlins. Happy to have you with us tonight. Here's what we got coming up on our Ameren pregame show. We will get a chance to hear from the Cardinals International Communications Specialist, Alexandra Novoa, who sits down with Mike Claiborne. John Rooney, Ricky Horton will have the first word from the broadcast booth from SunTrust Park in Atlanta. We'll get our managers chat with manager Mike Matheny and hopefully get an update on Dexter Fowler and Stephen Piscotty. I'll chat with St. Louis Post-Dispatch sports columnist Ben Fredrickson to talk about the impact of having no Piscotty and Dexter Fowler in the Cardinals lineup. We'll also talk about Johnny Peralta, who starts his rehab stint tonight for the Palm Beach Cardinals. So all of that and more ahead on the Ameren pregame show. As I mentioned, a 5-4 loss to the Milwaukee Brewers last night. Cardinals couldn't get past the pinch hit home run in the 7th inning, so the Cardinals dropped to 4-4 on the homestand. But Lance Lynn is on the mound tonight, one of the Cardinals' best pitchers so far this season. So our Central Bank of St. Louis replay takes us back to Lance Lynn's last start.
Here's another 3-2 for Hamilton, and he swings and misses, strikes out. With a good fastball, that's a 1 down and 26 to go. Here's a swing and a miss, and he strikes out the side. He fans Hamilton, Cozart, and Votto, and he got every one of them swinging.
A swing and a miss. Devin Mesoraco strikes out. Lance Lynn leaves 2 men on. The Reds have stranded 3.
That was against the Cincinnati Reds on April 28th, where Lance picked up his 3rd victory of the season. In the last 3 starts, 19 innings pitched for Lance. He's only given up 2 earned runs. He's got a 3-game win streak. His opponents are batting .200 against him. Only 1 home run in the last 3 starts for Lance Lynn. So truly impressive for how he has been pitching as of late for the Cardinals. So he goes for his 4th victory of the season a little bit later on tonight against the Atlanta Braves. Again, our Central Bank of St. Louis replay, your hometown bank of the St. Louis Cardinals. So here's what the Cardinals lineup looks like tonight. I won't give you all of it because John Rooney and Ricky Horton will provide that a little bit later from the broadcast booth. But with no Stephen Piscotty or Dexter Fowler in the lineup, Colton Wong leading things off tonight at second base. Then Jose Martinez batting second, playing right field. Again, we'll get more of an update on the starting lineup from Ricky Horton and John Rooney in just a bit when we get up to the broadcast booth right before first pitch tonight. Alex Ferrario with you on the Amarin pregame show. Do want to remind you, you can follow Cardinals baseball live with the MLB.com @Bat mobile app. Stay connected to the game's best players all season long with game day, live game video highlights, radio broadcasts, stats, news, and more. Download MLB.com @Bat today. It's your #1 app for live baseball. When we get back on the Amarin pregame show, we'll get an update on Stephen Piscotty and Dexter Fowler. We'll also talk about a player that was called up from the Memphis Redbirds and Johnny Peralta's rehab stint. That's next on the Amarin pregame show. Alex Ferrario with you. We're back after this on the Cardinals Radio Network.
Hey, it's me, your old AC. We need to talk, man. I am out of hair. Trust me. It's not going to get much better. I need to be replaced. Call the experts and get a new air conditioner that will save up to 50% on energy bills. Go ahead. Do it. I'll be right here. Whew.
At Chief Bauer Service Experts, save up to $4,000 on a new home comfort system. Call 866-EXPERTS or visit chiefbauer.com. For expert service guaranteed.
Call 866-EXPERTS.
Hey, it's Stevie J. Have the roof your home deserves. For your next roofing project, why don't you go with Roof Doctors, a locally owned and family-operated business for over 25 years. They use superior materials. They're a certified shingle contractor, so they can offer a 50-year non-prorated full system warranty, and they won't loan your work out to subcontractors. Hey, Roof Doctors has worked on my home, and the results are fantastic. But don't just take it from me. With an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau, Roof Doctors has plenty of satisfied customers. Get a free quote at roofdoctorsco.com.
The ribeye has the best, the greatest steak in town.
If you're looking for Champaign-Urbana's great steak place, it's the Ribeye Restaurant. Still with their famous salad bar and their delicious seasoned fried shrimp and delicious grilled chicken entrees. The Ribeye Restaurant, 1701 South Neal Street in Champaign. For reservations, call 351-9115.
The ribeye is the best. We're the one, the great one steak place.
It's time for baseball, hot dogs, apple pie, and Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. This is Jen Shelby inviting you to Hoopston to check out the incredible deals and the friendly customer service. Come in and drive the award-winning F-150 or fuel-efficient Fiesta. These are just two in Ford's lineup, which include favorites like Explorer, Edge, and Mustang. At the Chrysler store, check out the iconic Jeep brand, from a Wrangler Unlimited to a luxurious Grand Cherokee or the people-moving Chrysler Pacifica. We've got lots to choose from, and we'll always work to get you the best deal on any Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, or Ford.
Near the corner of routes 1 and 9 or HoopstonChrysler.com or FordofHoopston.com.
Just got checked out, had the MRI, and very, very mild muscle spasm. So extremely good news. So we're going to get reevaluated in the morning and then go from there, but everything's very encouraging after the fact.
That's Stephen Piscotty after last night's 5-4 loss when he exited the game early due to what the team was calling a right hamstring injury. Back in on the Amarin pregame show, Alex Ferrario with you as the Cardinals announced today that Stephen Piscotty is headed to the 10-day disabled list due to that right hamstring strain. So good news in the sense it wasn't more impactful to Stephen Piscotty's season, but bad news is you're going to lose a very, very key piece to your lineup in Stephen Piscotty defensively and offensively. So with Stephen Piscotty's injury, that brings up Tommy Pham up from the Memphis Redbirds, as Tommy was batting .283 with a .371 on base percentage, 4 home runs, 19 RBIs in 25 games. And Tommy Pham does add a key piece in center field defensively for you as well, because now Dexter Fowler is out. He is joining the team in Atlanta this evening. Mike Matheny saying that he could be available off of the bench after he had that MRI earlier this afternoon. We'll hear more about Dexter Fowler and Stephen Piscotty a little bit later on once we get into our manager's chat. But that's kind of an update on those two. And then that switches some things around for Mike Matheny's lineup. You have Colton Wong, who's moving up to the number 1 spot in the batting order, and Colton Wong has had an impressive month of April and beginning of May. He's batting he's got a .290 on base percentage. He's batting .303. He has 12 RBIs in a 9-game hit streak right now for Colton Wong, so I don't think there was any question to who was going to be that leadoff hitter for the Cardinals until Dexter Fowler gets back into the lineup. So we'll see what Colton Wong can provide to the Cardinals lineup a little bit later on tonight against the Atlanta Braves. Let's check in on our Monsanto Farm Report. As I mentioned in our previous segment, Johnny Peralta who's been on the 10-day disabled list since April 17th with what the team was saying an upper respiratory condition. Well, he is starting his rehab assignment today with the Palm Beach Cardinals, as he is batting in the 3-hole tonight for Palm Beach, who are just getting underway right now against Lakeland. So we'll find out if Johnny Peralta can come through and get that rehab stint going to where he can get back up here to the major leagues as well. Also, the Memphis Redbirds play tonight against Omaha as Arturo Reyes is on the mound. Springfield taking on Northwest Arkansas. Jack Flaherty is on the mound. Peoria Chiefs taking on Great Lakes. Again, our Monsanto Farm Report, proud supporter of America's farmers. When we get back on the Ameren pregame show, we'll open up the reporter's notebook and chat with St. Louis Post-Dispatch sports columnist Ben Fredrickson. We'll get more of an update on Stephen Piscotty, Dexter Fowler, and the impact Colton Wong can have to this Cardinals team. That's next on the Ameren pregame show. Alex Ferrario with you inside our network studios in St. Louis. Cardinals and Braves coming at you tonight, the start of a 3-game series right here on the Cardinals Radio Network.
Dear Kendra, happy Mother's Day. You're a wonderful wife and the best mom a kid could have.
Come to Shane Company for our unique mother and child pendants. The designs reflect that special bond between a mom and her child. We have a sterling silver mother and child pendant with a beautiful natural white sapphire for $125.
Kendra, I'll never forget the day we brought home our little angel. I thought we'd never get a full night of sleep.
We also have a 14-karat gold mother and child pendant that you can customize with whatever gemstone she'd love. A natural diamond, ruby, or sapphire. We have sapphires in 3 shades of blue, as well as pink sapphires, yellow, lavender, over a dozen sapphire colors and all.
Honey, we knew you'd love your very own mother and child pendant. So happy Mother's Day.
See these styles and many other exclusive mother and child pendants in all price ranges in our store or at shaneco.com. Now you have a friend in the jewelry business, Shane Company.
Sure, we've been called a mom and pop store. We take it as a compliment. After all, we are family owned and operated with 2 generations actively involved, and 5 of our team members have been with us for around 20 years each or longer. We run our business with old-fashioned customer service as our foundation, and we wouldn't have it any other way. Add our great selection of hand-picked mattresses, all proudly made in the USA at guaranteed lowest prices, and we're sure you won't find a better deal anywhere. Visit us and experience the Illini mattress difference today.
When your computer's not working, you're not working. Hi, this is Dan from Simplified Computers. Whether your computer is running slow, you have a virus, or it's just time for an upgrade, Simplified Computers is here to help with personal service you won't find at the big box stores. We can set up your wireless network, build, install, and maintain your business's server, or replace your hard drive. For over 18 years, we have served the Champaign-Urbana community with integrity and quality customer service. Call us at 352-5000. Simplified Computers, simply the best.
Hello, this is Shane Colt from Country Arbors Nursery. Spring is finally here and Country Arbors is open and ready to supply you with all your home and garden needs. We grow hundreds of thousands of annuals and 600 varieties of perennials right here in Urbana. If you're looking for a large shade tree, then you'll want to come out and see our thousands of trees dug and ready to be planted. Country Arbors offers a planting service on all our trees. Buy 3 or more trees and we'll give you 20% discount on the tree and the planting. We guarantee all of our larger trees that we plant for 5 years. And don't forget, we deliver dozens of different mulches and stone. You can find out more information and directions at countryarbors.com.
328-2424. Tapman's Towing. 24 hours every day. Tapman's Towing. 328-2424. Tapman's Towing. 328-2424. Tapman's Towing. 24 hours every day. Tapman's Towing. We have pull and we're hooked on you. Tapman's Towing.
Back on the Amarin pregame show, Alex Ferrario with you as we welcome into the conversation St. Louis Post-Dispatch sports columnist Ben Fredrickson. Ben, how are you, man?
Doing well, Alex. Thanks for having me.
Oh, of course. Triple whammy last night for the Cardinals. Not only do you lose the game to the Milwaukee Brewers, but you lose 2 very important pieces to your offense and defense in Stephen Piscotty and Dexter Fowler.
Man, just brutal. I know that the Cardinals wanted to get that game in because they're going to be basically playing every day until the All-Star break now. But looking back, you wonder if they wish it would have been rained out. I don't know if the field had anything to do with any of those injuries. I don't think it did. It was actually drained off pretty well. But certainly the cold weather probably affected Stephen Piscotty's hamstring, and Dexter Fowler just takes a bad fall on a diving play, nearly made a great catch. But now you're looking at moving forward for the time being without 2 of your starters in the outfield. Cardinals have put Stephen Piscotty on the DL, and now the nature of Fowler's injury might be a little bit more serious. But I guess if you're looking for a silver lining, it's that Fowler is expected to join the team in Atlanta tonight. So we still don't have a verdict on what exactly he's dealing with, but that usually would be a good sign if a guy's making the trip.
Yeah, well, and for anything for Piscotty as well, it was good to see him standing up at his locker room last night after the game saying that, to him it was just a mild spasm and hoping that it won't be anything too severe. So a 10-day disabled list stint for him, but still, it could have been a lot worse.
Absolutely. The fact that he was walking and I think he and the trainers might disagree on what exactly he's dealing with. But if he's moving around and saying, look, I think I'm going to be back sooner rather than later, that's good news because we've seen how those hamstring strains can lay a guy up. I mean, just look at Matt Holliday and the ones that he dealt with in his later years here in St. Louis. Those can be problems, and they don't always go away. So the key with that, like in oblique, is to make sure it's good and healed before the guy rushes back. And Piscotty's one of those guys who is Carpenter-like. He will try to rush back, so it's going to be on the team to make sure that they keep him on the shelf until he's fully ready to go, or else he could hurt it again, and then it becomes a bigger problem throughout the season. But it's going to be interesting to see how they move forward for the time being, because if Fowler misses any games, you've got 2 holes in your outfield that you're going to have to come up with ways to fill.
Yeah, Jose Martinez getting a shot tonight in right field and Colton Wong moving up to the number 1 spot. That to me is very intriguing, Ben, because we've seen what Colton has done so far this season. And I mean, he's playing really well offensively and he may thrive in that number 1 spot for however long Dexter Fowler's out.
Yeah, I completely understand doing it. I know some people are going to say, why isn't Carpenter there? And that's a fair question. I mean, he's one of the best leadoff hitters in baseball, but if you put Carpenter there, then you have to ask yourself, well, who's going to hit behind him with Piscotty out and with Fowler out? So they see Carpenter as a source of a little bit more power potential, and with the way Colton's been hitting, he deserves a shot at it. His on-base percentage has been at a career high to start this season. He's just playing within himself. He's not going out there trying to hit home runs. He's not going out there trying to be somebody he's not. He's just taking what the defense get what the defense gives him, and he's using that elite speed to get on base. So hopefully for him, he doesn't try to do anything different now. I mean, that's the thing with Colton is he can't get inside his own head. He's just got to play the game, and he's done a great job of that this season. I think the team's been really impressed with him. I know it was a rocky spring training. I know there was some frustration that boiled over when the idea was brought to his attention that he might not be the everyday starter at second base. But look at him now. His offense has justified his place. and his defense, which was a little rocky to start the season, has smoothed out. He's making some fantastic plays at second base. So the biggest thing for him is you just hope he doesn't get too focused on having to be the leadoff hitter for now. Just go out and do the same thing he's been doing. That's why he's in that spot.
And finally, Ben, you got to think this is a do-or-die situation for Tommy Pham, who gets an opportunity to play after spending the first chunk of the season in Memphis.
Yeah, I think Tommy Pham deserves some credit here, Alex. That's a tough break for him out of spring training to be told, look, we're going to go with Jose Martinez. As good of a story as it was for Jose Martinez, and he's continued to hit, so he deserves credit. But Tommy Pham is a guy who's proven that he can be that fourth outfielder at a major league level, and he just had a bad spring, and Jose Martinez really took that job from him. I mean, that really wasn't supposed to be as much of a competition as it turned into, and then Jose Martinez, won it running away. So for Pham to take that in stride and to go down to Memphis and put together the season that he's had there, I think he's hit 4 home runs. He's been hitting the ball well. He's made himself the top option, and that's not always easy to do. I mean, Bader is clearly a guy that I know a lot of people want to see. The Cardinals probably don't want to bring him up and start him, start that clock. But I think Pham deserves credit for continuing to stay at the top of the heap there and getting a shot. Now it's all about what does he do with it.
Well, looking forward to him in center field. That's Ben Fredrickson of the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. I'm Alex Ferrario on the Amarin pregame show. We'll take a break, and when we get back, we'll have the manager's chat with manager Mike Matheny. That's next, Amarin pregame show on the Cardinals Radio Network.
Hey kids, want to grow tall like the pros and track it? Well, you can, thanks to Missouri Farmers Care and the St. Louis Cardinals. Don't miss the Cardinals-Cubs game on Saturday, May 13th, when each kid entering the ballpark with a ticket will take home a Cardinals growth poster featuring outfielder Dexter Fowler. Get your tickets now at cardinals.com/promotions.
Fans are getting some big league baseball tonight.
There's only one Cardinals baseball.
Hey Cardinal fans, Ozzie Smith here for Amarin, Illinois. When starting an outdoor project, Amarin, Illinois reminds you to look up and pay attention to power lines, including those connected to your home. And if you're building a new deck or room addition, make sure you maintain required clearances from the lines to keep you and your family safe all year long. A safety reminder from your friends at Amarin, Illinois. Energy at work.
Hi, it's Corey with Max Twin City Recycling. We pride ourselves on giving the area an outlet to recycle and get paid for their unwanted metals. We're taking our community focus a step further with our Recycling for a Cause program. Each month, Max Twin City will choose a different local charity to feature in an effort to raise money for those causes. Visit maxrecycling.com for a complete list of program details.
Guidance, trust, protection, service. It's the mantra of GTPS Insurance. When you work with GTPS, you'll never have to call an 800 number in a different state. You deal with people who live and work in our community and know it's important to your business. GTPS is your local source for business insurance, property, general liability, workers' compensation, and group health insurance, and they'll work with you to formulate the best package for the needs of you and your business. Contact a GTPS insurance agent today at 359-9000 or visit online at gtpsinsurance.com.
There's a time for work, there's a time for play. There's a time to do things you don't do every day. There's a place to go for tools and machines and people with knowledge about these things. We've been here since 53 to meet your rental needs. When the time comes, we're the place for everything. Rental City.
Spring has sprung, and for 25 years, Prairie View Land